Hi guys, it's Anthony here, as well as most people know me as the Ant-Man. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up before the episode starts. At the time of recording this episode, we in the UK are still under heavy lockdown. So in order to progress with the series, I've decided to do this episode on the internet via a web chat. So just a word of warning that the audio will change throughout the episode. This is merely a temporary thing until lockdown has finished, and then we can get back to recording episodes like we normally do. Stay safe, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the M.T.V.B. podcast, the podcast that talks about movies, TV shows, video games, and board games. I'm your host, Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Ant-Man, and welcome. This episode is going to be about, technically a TV episode for once. We haven't done one of those in a while, is it? This this episode is going to be about TV box sets, but box sets that we binge through. And I'm joined by a bunch of guys that love to talk about TV shows. Guys, introduce yourself around the table, please.
My name's Gal, guys.
It's me, Little Gal.
And it's me, Gokul. I'm a Sutra.
Guys, welcome back again. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us, sir.
Nice to be back.
Once again through the internet, seeing as we're still under heavy lockdown, I really, really appreciate you guys coming on and spending time to be on the episode. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.
No worries, dude. Anytime. We love this.
So, finally, a TV episode. We haven't done one of these for a while, have we?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
So,
finally.
So this, obviously, you heard earlier on, this is going to be about TV box sets, but not just any TV box set. We're going to talk about ones that we love to binge through. So, my first question to whoever wants to answer this one first is, what exactly is binge watching?
Nice. Great question, Ant.
I'll go. What I term binge watching is basically sitting down, having snacks, having whatever, like junk food with you, and just continuously just clicking that next button, finish it, next episode, until you're like just satisfied. That's what I call binge watching. That's what I believe it is.
And you only leave the sofa or your bed for a toilet, and literally that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And you don't move.
So literally just stay on that seat, constantly feed and drink yourself. Don't even bother going to the toilet.
Yeah.
If you don't get a butt mark at the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so if you don't get like that butt imprinted in the sofa at the end of it, then it's not binge watching.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it's that mold, isn't it? And also when your legs start twitching and you know that you got to get up and do some exercise, that's when you've done well. You've done well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So technically, go on.
Or your mum coming in and giving you that look, and it's like, are you ever going to leave that sofa? Like that look. She won't even say anything. She just peek through and she went, are you ever going to say like leave that sofa, that spot?
And you're like, really, Mum? Really? Yeah.
So technically, if you have a break, it doesn't count as binge watching. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right. So let's get to the questions. I take it you've all got top fives for later on as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I understand this was quite a tough top five for you guys.
Oh yeah.
Me especially. Like, I don't know what it is. I just couldn't remember some of them. I'm gonna kick myself when everyone mentions one. So I'm just gonna be like, oh my days, how did I forget that? And plus, like I was saying earlier, like some of them, I think you might hate me for this. Like, I haven't finished most of them as well. So I was like going through the list and I was like, oh shit, I haven't finished this. So I could have mentioned those. But anyway, someone else take it away.
Yeah, I think Gal's right about that. You know, it was difficult in the sense that because I know we did an earlier podcast in last season about TV shows and stuff. But what I kind of went to is like actually having box sets, like when we actually before streaming, like the physicalness of putting a disc in. And I'm looking on my shelf right now, and I've still got a few of them, like collecting dust. And I was like, whoa, those are like the box sets that I'm going to mention today. So that made it really fun.
Wow.
And and the thing about those box sets is like, and you're probably going to ask this in a later question, but it had stuff like special features, director's commentary, and stuff like that. So if you're really into your show, it was good to have a physical box set.
Yeah.
Whereas on streaming services, you just get like the full show, isn't it? So, but yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. Difficult, but fun. I think you mentioned that as well, right, John? You were saying how difficult it was.
I had a lot of difficulty, but because to me, there was two types. To me, there's two types of binge watching. I mean, like before the lockdown, you know, you'd work, you'd get a couple of days off, and you might say, oh, you know what? I've got an hour or two to myself. You know, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that whole series or whatever. Whereas now, on lockdown, it's a bit different because it's like, well, most of us are all sitting around doing nothing anyway.
Exactly.
But with me, I've got what?
John, you're two different versions. I know one of the versions where you sit down and you watch it, and then like next thing you know, you're you're like your age. I'm like your age, 56, and I've got grey hair.
Well, you have to have an interest in the series to binge watch it.
I'm on a joke.
I know. You know, you're not just going to sit there and watch an entire series unless you're interested in watching it, are you? So I've literally got in my list things I've probably watched them several times. So it was a very hard list to do.
Right.
We've done a similar list of TV shows before, so you probably think to yourself, oh, he's going to put this and that one in. You know, I may or may not have done, but there's a few different ones in there.
What about you, Little Jay?
I was just going to ask. Yeah, no, I was just going to ask Golko a question because he's so organised and has a scheduled timing on when he watches. I don't think. Have you ever binge watched Golko? I just want to know.
It's actually a really good question. I was going to answer that. You know what? It's weird, but I've actually done that with. The thing is, I wouldn't consider it a box set, but it's like one of those, like, you know, you get those true crime documentaries on Netflix. That's probably it. But an actual box set, like a TV show, yeah, I need to have my breaks, man. I need to have like a little break. It's hard. I can't do it. But then again, I think we did binge watch first season of Dark, so that was the closest to actually watching all the way through. Yeah. That was probably, Would you consider that as a box set? Actually, yeah, it's finished now. So, you know.
Technically, yeah.
It's what?
It's what?
Well, I still haven't seen season 3, so thanks for the spoiler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't think it's finished, bro. It's not finished.
No, it's not.
Probably not.
So you can't have that on your list. You can't have that on your list.
I think it is, dude.
It's not finished, bro.
I don't think it is. It's too popular to finish that.
Oh, it's a controversial one. Has it or hasn't it finished?
I think it's finished. I think that's the start.
So let's get on to the questions, then, shall we? So, John, we'll start with you, sir. So, can you remember the first box set you ever watched? Not binge watched, but the first box set you ever watched.
Do you know what? I don't know if I can because. Go on, G.
Back in 1988. They didn't do series back then.
Actually, no.
We'll come back to you then. Can anyone else remember their first box set? Not binge watch, just your first box set.
Yeah, my first one was Prison Break, season 1. Sorry, guys.
That's good.
Season 1 of Prison Break.
That was good.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was, But
as in, like, but even if it was on telly or you had to own it, is that what you're saying?
No, the first box set you ever watched.
First box set.
Oh, okay. Mine would have to be like the very earliest ones is probably like I think I probably mentioned it in the previous episode. Superman one, Clark Kent and Lois Lane.
Oh yeah. Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Yeah. That's it. That's the one I really remember. And actually, I'll go even further back, but I remember watching, I don't know if you remember the Planet of the Apes series.
No.
I used to sit down and watch it.
There was a TV series.
There's a TV series of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I could be wrong because I remember sitting down watching it with my mum. It could be the movies. So,
okay.
Yeah,
but I remember watching it. It used to come on like on the weekend.
Actually, there probly was a TV series. I don't think it ran for very long, but John's Googling now, just to see if it's true or not.
we used to go and watch it. This is like way back. I'm going like maybe 1995. But very early sort of memories of my
Big G, we're asking about what first box set was, not your first TV show. What was the first DVD box set you got and watched? Simple as.
Yeah, you got a lot. You bought a lot, didn't you? Went to M.T.V.B. You must have had something.
I remember. I'm more predominantly bought movies, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah, we always bought the movie. I don't remember. That's why I can't remember a specific box set till I went out and watched. I watch TV series as it goes on the TV, but I never, I don't think I bought a specific box set.
Maybe the first one I bought was probably Breaking Bad. Maybe. I remember.
Breaking Bad, eh? Oh, yeah.
No, I'll be honest though. So Breaking Bad was my first box set. It wasn't my first binge, but I watched Breaking Bad when nobody was watching Breaking Bad. So that's how it was my first box set.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of got it up. I think it was at the final season, and that's when everyone was talking about it.
So because that's when Netflix got it, and that's when Netflix put it out to the world.
Yeah.
That's how everyone knows about Breaking Bad. But it's not in my top 5, so that's why I'm mentioning it. It's not in my top 5.
Okay.
Right, so, John, did you figure out what your first box set was?
Oh my God! Sorry.
I think it was CSI.
CSI, yep.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I liked a lot of lots of shows that came out before that, but I think that was. I vaguely remember that may have been the first proper box set that I bought, but of course it was on VHS tape then.
Yeah, still a box set at the end of the day, regardless of what it was on.
So yeah. I think I started with VHS tapes and went on to DVDs, and then so I moved up. So
I think it's going back on mine. Sorry, I do remember a couple too, but I'm not going to mention it because they're in my top 5. So
no, that's fine.
So
It's best to try and do it without doing it.
So come back to me now.
So right, so I guess we'll move on to the next question, and I'm going to put it to. I'll put it to Big G this time. Big G can go first because I don't think Gokul's actually done this now because he's just admitted it. But do you actually enjoy binge watching? Like, do you like to make it last longer, or are you always that person that's like, go on, babe, put the next episode on?
I think I'm definitely that guy. I think so. I wouldn't do it on shows that I don't like. Say there's a new show come out, and I wouldn't like risk doing it on the show that I don't know of. So I would definitely do it on shows that I've already seen 100%, and if I love what I wouldn't remind watching it. So I would go 100% on it. But with a new one, no, I will hold back. But yeah, I think. So a series you've seen before, you'll binge watch it, like put the next episode on. But if it's a new one, you make it last longer, do you? Yeah, I'm not the person to wait like how Gokul is like schedule. If it gets going, I'll be like next episode, boom. Yeah. But if it doesn't get me, then no. But if it does, then I'll binge it. Like some of the ones I'll on my list, I did it within a week, and they're like a lot of series.
A lot of episodes in the series, yeah.
Especially like the comedy ones. I can rewatch it so many times. I can just sit there, just having it playing, and I just be lying there, just watching it, even though I've seen it so many times.
Dude, you're talking about old TV shows. So obviously Netflix has got. Do you remember? You obviously remember Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right?
Yes.
Did you know season one alone has 60 episodes, and that's half an hour each?
Wow.
So it's just
Is
like
that the very first one?
that the first season
The very
has
first one.
60 episodes. That's insane. I couldn't even binge watch that.
Oh my god. I
Damn.
remember seeing that. What's that on GMTV, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's like
that's right.
60 mornings worth of.
He used to be called the exercise guy. He does the exercise.
Mr. Motivator.
Mr. Motivator. Yeah, that's
Brilliant.
But I just realised something. Like I said, the beginning episode, I just completely forgot about that. Power Rangers.
That is such a good show.
So is anyone else?
Okay.
John, do you enjoy binge watching at all, or do you make them last?
Yeah, it depends on the series. I mean, I can quite easily sit through 10 episodes of something if I, I think a lot of it affects your mood as well. It's like if you're in a pissed off mood and you want to cheer yourself up. That's why my list is. I wanted to cheer myself up. What series would I be quite happy to sit and watch for the next couple of hours to cheer me up, sort of thing? That's where I can rattle off TV series all the time. I like that one and I like that one and I like that one, but would I necessarily watch it again?
Yeah,
maybe not. So that's why my list might be a bit different to some of yours.
So, John, if you're pissed off, would you watch John Wick? Is that your go-to?
How is a movie coming into a TV episode?
I don't want to go and kill someone.
No, I'm just kind of wind him up. Because John gets happy with anything to do with weapons.
Anything to do with guns.
What about?
I don't remember anything TV shows.
What about you, little G?
No, sorry.
Yeah, I was just about to say exactly what John was saying. So it's like, it depends on what mood I am. Say if I'm feeling shit and I just watch, like, get into some sort of comedy thing, I can watch it, I can binge it, just to, like, not just to make myself feel good, but it just makes me think, whatever it is, if I've had a crap day or whatever, it just make me forget about it, make me feel good. Like, those kind of moods, I can just make me feel good, and it's just like, I'll carry on watching it until I'm, like, just perfect, and I forget about whatever happened that day. But I mean, like, I don't have to be I don't have to specifically watch it. Even if I enjoy it, if I enjoy something so much, I'll continuously watch it straight away. If it's good and I like it, then and I've got nothing else to do for the next couple of hours, I will watch it one after another. If I've got no reason not to watch it, then fair enough, I'll stop. But I will watch it. If there's a couple of episodes left, I'll carry on watching if I have to.
Yeah, exactly. But you go, cool.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I'm thinking now again about things I've watched constantly. I think the most I've done is probably 5 episodes in a row, and that's like nothing to you guys. That's like 5 1-hour episodes in a row, and then after that, it's like, oh man, I don't know what it is. But sometimes I just need to take a break from watching it. But but there's actually one of them's actually on my list, and that's the. If you guys have heard of this show, I mean, I'd absolutely love you for it. If you don't, I'm happy because I'm going to recommend that one as well. But that was that's definitely on my list.
It's like, Sorry, go on.
No, go on, John. Go on.
Is that Antu's gone about a series, Parks and Recreation?
Yes.
And I've often wanted to watch it, but I never really got around to it.
Yeah.
And I decided one day recently that, you know what, I'm gonna start watching this. And Ant will tell you there's 120. I didn't realise this. There's 125 episodes in it, spread over 7 seasons, and I watched all of them in literally 3 or 4 days.
Oh my God!
Serious?
That's binge watching, baby.
That's hardcore.
If that's not binge watching, I don't know.
They're only half hour long, but I had all 125 episodes done less than a week.
John, just for the record, how many days did you do it again?
3 or 4.
Well done. That's binge watching, baby.
That's what I call retirement, John.
Yeah. It's what I said, But the thing is, it's a very, very funny series. And it's like we said, you watch the first one, it's only half hour, so you think, oh, do you know what, I'll watch another one. And before you know it, you've watched 10. So,
is it in your top 5?
No.
Nah, he wouldn't have mentioned it. He wouldn't have mentioned it if it was in the top 5.
Because I've only recently watched it. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch it. Would I watch it all again? Probably would, but not for another year or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would watch it again, yeah.
I've got to throw something really quickly in, and really sorry about this.
Yeah,
about box sets and stuff and binge watching. So, say for example, you're taking a flight, and when we did, I think one of the longest flights I did was London to Florida, and I remember sitting there, and that's a good opportunity to sit on a flight and watch a TV show.
Yep, totally.
The only thing is, and there's one TV show, and I can't remember which one. I've forgotten which one it was, but it was annoying because it only had season 7. And it wasn't season 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, if you're on this plane and you're watching it, you must be so confused seeing this. So if there's anyone in the airline industry listening to this right now, please start from the beginning. Okay? And that's it.
I implore you.
Especially with a good TV show. So please I implore you. Okay, I'm done. That's my rant.
No, that's good. So my next question, I'll ask Little G first on this one. So, what do you get? Right, so, I'm trying to figure out how I say this. So, do you get anything out of binge watching? Like, at the end of the final episode, do you ever feel like that was worth it? That was worth watching all those episodes?
Yeah. But it's hard because when you're watching something so good, I think you guys notice this, and you're just expecting like such a good ending, but then it's like it's disappointing. So it's not always the desired outcome you want, because I don't think it's like we're so hyped up. No. I think most all the good shows you watch, you're never going to be satisfied with the ending, because you always think, oh no, they could have done it like this, but the ending's the ending. But yeah, there is certain shows where I'm like, wow, that was good, and I was just like, I'm glad I watched that, and I feel like a better person, like in life, like whatever that means becomes.
I've done it. I achieved something.
Done so, some of them, after a while, you've committed so much time into watching them that you've gone past the point of, I'm not going to watch anymore. I've got to watch the next one now, and the next, and then, like you said, when you get to the end of it, you think, that's how
that happened.
Sometimes you get the payoff that you expect, and sometimes
it's a sense of accomplishment, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
And you've actually, gone through it. Especially if you're catching up. Say, I remember watching Game of Thrones when it was on season 6, I think. How many seasons was it? 7 seasons.
7, 8.
7, yeah.
8 was the final season.
I think, So I think, when I started watching it, I remember the very first time when Little G was watching it, I walked into the room, and it was a scene where, what is that girl? The king? The queen, sorry? Khaleesi. She was getting hammered by that big barbarian guy. And I was like, shit, this is Game of Thrones? What the hell are you watching? This is Game of Thrones, man. No. He paused it. It's like, it's not what you think, man.
I
know you said it's Game of Thrones. That's Game of Thrones.
Do you mind? I literally said, do you mind? I'm in the middle of saying here.
That's so funny.
So that was ages ago, and I think that's probably like when it was on season 2 or whatever. And then I got into it on season, like I said, 7, and I just plowed through it. And when I got caught up to everyone, like in season 7, and it was like a sense of pride and accomplishment, because everyone was talking about it, especially one of my mates that I know that who got me to watch it. Shout out to Danny. He was just like talking me through it. He was like, "Oh yeah, have you done this?" And we were just like discussing it. And when I got caught up, and then when I got to where he was, and we were like, "Right, we're ready now." And it was just like so cool.
Yeah. It's like,
and then
guys,
the ending happened.
Here, right? And then,
don't talk about it.
Don't get me started on that.
No, we already talked about it in the previous episode. So go, carry on.
Yeah. Do you know what? We're all gamers here, right? I feel like after we finish a show, like a platinum trophy appears up and it goes ching, completed.
How awesome would that be? That would be so awesome.
Cool, right?
Go cool. Go cool. Hear me out, right? Yeah. So if you ever watch, now you can do this, by the way. If you ever watch Netflix via your Xbox, right? If you can earn achievements by watching episodes.
You are kidding me right
seriously,
now. Are you serious?
You get like 5. You get like 5G 5 gamer points if you go through 3 episodes. You get 15 if you watch just the season, and I think you get 100 if you watch the whole season in one or something.
Mate, that is
wow.
Okay.
Honestly, no joke.
All right, wow. That is amazing. Oh my God. Thank you for telling me that. I'm sure a lot of viewers are actually like at the edge of their seats now hearing that.
I'm sure PlayStation do as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember years ago, my wife was pregnant with her first child, and we were watching Sons of Anarchy. And I think we watched 3 episodes, and all of a sudden this little achievement unlock come up saying, 5Gs, you've just watched 3 episodes on Netflix. I'm like, what? I thought it was pretty awesome.
That is so cool.
So yeah,
people invest themselves in series in a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes people watch it because it's a particular actor or actress that they like. Others are in it just for the story. It doesn't matter who the actors are. I mean, I can get quite emotional about things, and I really attach myself to some of the characters. So then, you get to when you actually get to the final episode, again, it comes back to things like Game of Thrones. You know, some people were happy with the way it ended, a lot of people weren't. You know, there's been some series I've got to the end of it and thought, yeah, I suppose that's okay. You know, others I've been fantastic ending, and others like, you know, that was just rubbish. So it all depends, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So yeah, I'll go on to another question quickly. I'll point it to John because I'll save the last one for Gokul. So John, it's kind of the same question, but it's going to be worded differently. Okay, so out of all these highly rated shows, when it comes to box sets, has anyone recommended a show to you? You've sat through the whole lot and thought to yourself, I didn't see what the fuss was all about.
Oh shit, that's a good question.
Yeah. Oh. That's a good question.
Nothing springs to mind. I can't say that didn't happen though, but nothing springs to mind. No.
Okay. Not just anyone's highly recommended, but you hear all these highly, big shows like all these channels like Sky Atlantic and whatnot. For me, I'll give you an example. So. The Sopranos. It's a very good show, but I think it's very overrated. Very, very overrated show. Yeah. And I couldn't see what all the fuss was about. Times of it is very boring, and there's like a whole episode where Tony Soprano is just dreaming about shit. It's very dull and very boring at time to time, and I just couldn't see what the hype was about. So you see what I'm saying? Is there anything you can think of that you thought, I don't see what the fuss was about with this overrated stuff?
That is a great question.
I'll have to think about it. If someone else wants to answer, give me a minute to try and think.
Do you know if this is finished? And it's a show called, it's that show on Amazon Prime about what would happen if the Germans won World War II and they came to America, them the Japanese. It's called... The
Man in the Castle.
The Man in the High Castle.
Yeah, that's it. The Man in the High Castle.
I think it's finished.
I don't know if that's finished now.
I think it's finished.
I think, man, I mean, that show had so much potential. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but everyone was talking about that. And I watched it and I was like, no, I really wish the show was better than expected. It just was, it had moments where it was just dragging on and stuff. And man, I wish that they kind of redone that and made it better.
Yeah, I think it lost the 3 seasons, but it has finished. It has definitely finished.
Okay. Yeah, because lots of people online were raving it, and I was like, oh, okay, can't wait to watch this. And I watched it, and I was like, no, it wasn't what I expected. Yeah.
For me, I wouldn't even finishing it. Hence why I probably won't even remember it. For example, I think it's still ongoing, but I stopped after a certain season. But everyone was talking about it at work, and even Nash talks about it. Power.
Yeah.
People love it and stuff. It did intrigue me a little bit, but then I just kind of lost it. It's you know what? Just couldn't bother. That's the thing. I won't spend if it doesn't interest me, I won't go through sit down and finish it. So just if you're not enjoying it, why bother, innit?
Yeah, you just lose interest in it.
A lot of people at work are talking about that.
There's been many else. Yeah, there's been many, but I just because I probably forgot about it. Finished. I wouldn't finish it. So
I probably when I do the honourable mentions, you'll probably think, that wasn't all that, or that wasn't all that. So. What about you, little G? Anything?
Yeah,
I think Power was one of them. Also, Peaky Blinders. I don't think I gave it enough.
I don't get it. Peaky Blinders.
I don't
get the hype.
I think.
Started off all right.
I watched a few episodes, and I normally at least the 4th, 5th get to you, and I was like, no, this ain't for me. I just told him I can't.
I don't get it, man.
So I was like, I don't get the hype as well. And the same with Power as well. I was just like, no, it's not for me. I don't know. Maybe I was in the mood, or if everyone liked it, I was like, surely I should like it. But I was like, nah, it wasn't for me.
I tell you why, because it's British and we live in Britain, innit? And we're gangsters.
That's what
I generally think I'm not like into these sort of gangster sort of shows or as heavy as like someone like Nash or anything like that. I don't know.
Because I was sorry, mate. Go on.
Unless like if it's done properly, and I think we talked about in the previous episode, Gangs of London. That was done like
that was a good show. Damn, was that a good show?
Yeah, so that it's done properly. If it's like all like
fingers crossed for season 2.
Yeah. I think I'm just done with this whole gangster sort of like back in the day, like it was all good. But I think I'm maturing. Maybe that's what it is.
Gad, did you see Narcos? Did you ever see that?
Yes.
Okay, what do you think after season 2 when Escobar died? Did you find that after that it just wasn't the same?
Yeah, it went downhill after season 2.
Did you guys see the same?
And that got spoiled to me as well. Well, like I know it happened, but a lot of things were spoiled before because everyone was again talking about it, and I kind of just lost the vibe as when the first season was just pretty good. It was like, oh god, this is complete. Whereas when season 2 came out, I kind of got delayed watching it, and by then everyone was raving about it, and I just lost that vibe. But I agree with you. After he died, that sort of thing just wasn't the same. I think they bought out another one.
Narcos Mexico, right?
Yeah, and it's about his nephew or something like that.
What?
Okay.
There's another Narcos series, but it's someone's related to Escobar. I can't remember the name. Papi? No.
El Chapo.
El Chapo.
Oh yeah, that was
linked to it.
He was like a different drug dealer. It's linked to it though. In real life, those guys did have affiliations, but I think, am I right? And that was a totally different production, but it's kind of with the same kind of boat, isn't it? It's kind of like happening in the same universe and stuff. So that's a good.
I think Pablo Escobar is probably the last sort of gangster one I watched. Well, no, it was Gangs of London after that, but
London. I need to see that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, now TV, right? That's
has any of you ever watched? Has any of you sorry, I'll start again. Has anyone of you watched The Wire at all, or know of it?
I know of it.
And that is on my list.
It's supposed to be very good. I haven't watched it yet, though.
Yeah, I've been told by my patients.
See, again, it's one of those very hyped up shows, but I don't think it delivers on the hype personally. It's a good show, don't get me wrong, but I think the hype is a bit too much. It's definitely one where I sat through it and enjoyed it, but I was just like, I don't see why so many people are talking about it. And but you might go in and watch it and think, I don't know what Ant was talking about, but again, there's seasons where like 1 was good, 2 was a bit dull, picks up again in 3. I think there's 5 seasons in total. But I think it's one you guys might want to give a try if you ever get a chance. That is, but I just didn't see what the hype was personally. Today with that one.
I mean, do you ever get the sense like sometimes when you're like browsing and you just look at the shows and you're like, oh man, that's overrated, or I know what that's about. And, like, do you guys? Is it just me, or like you're like, no, I'm not gonna bother with that? I'm finding that more and more that shows I see, it's just like, oh, I know what that is. Oh, this is this. This is
that's like me in Game of Thrones, man. Sometimes I see it. I still haven't watched it. I'm just looking at it. I don't want to give my time for this.
It's a good show. You should watch it. It's just the ending, but it's a very good show. I would go back and watch it again. I enjoyed it. I really do like Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give that a go then soon.
Don't ever mention Game of Thrones like that, Coco. You've upset me.
It's been done. It's been done. I'm sorry.
So I'll put the last question to Gokul because he mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Have you ever been so into a show that you've actually sat through the making of, the special features and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I think I've only ever done it. I think I've only ever done it with one, and that was with Lost, which I mentioned in the previous TV episode.
Exactly that. it was that. Yeah,
I don't think I've done. No, tell a lie. I think I've done it with Game of Thrones as well. They released a documentary after the final season to come. I think it's only those two I've ever really got into.
Yeah, I've kind of seen. Yeah.
When you start, sorry.
I was just saying, it was. I think it was Lost, then, especially season 1, because we always wanted to know how did they make that
100%
crashed airplane scene on the island, right?
100%.
Yeah, and we both watched it. And I know, because that was just epic. It was like, okay, this was like when you're blurring TV shows to movies. Like that line had been blurred now. And it was like, how do they do that? And how do they have the budget for that? Like, this is incredible. Like, tell me.
I'm going to call it. I think Lost had the best intros ever.
Intro, right?
I'm calling it.
Ever?
I think I'm on yours.
Yeah, I think so. Intro, as in that.
As in the episode, the pilot episode you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that caught me. Yeah, I think I watched the pilot and I was like, yeah, I'm going to...
And going back to your question, I think the reason why we watched the special...
Very like some of the series have.
John, come closer. I can't hear you.
I said I liked Lost, but it didn't blow me away like a lot of other TV series did. So whether I didn't...
That's what she said.
I didn't get all of it, I suppose. But I enjoyed it, but I've enjoyed better ones since, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, Big G, you go on.
Yeah, I was saying, I think the reason why we watched the special features as well is to find out what the hell was going on as well.
Yeah, true.
But
true.
Yeah, I remember trying to read up on the episode. Some of the was like mine. Like the way it's written is. No, I'm not going to talk to you about it now. No, leave it.
It might be on his top 5. Maybe.
Ooh, a little bit of a spoiler there, eh? Right. So, does anyone have any questions they want to throw? And if not, we'll go straight to the top 5s.
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Let's do this.
They were very good.
Let's do this.
It's time for a top 5.
Right, so before we do the top 5s, obviously you know the rules to this. It has to be an official box set, has to have a beginning, middle, and an end. So it can't be a series that's constantly ongoing at the moment, because why recommend it if it hasn't finished, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So would anyone like to go first on this one? Or would you like me to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Yeah, I can go first.
Me? All right, I go first. So number 5, it might be a bit of a, I don't know. This again, like you guys were saying, it's very tough because we've obviously done an episode where we talked about our favourites, but none of my favourites are in this top 5. It's weird how I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I need to try and recommend ones that are away from the top 5 that I picked, because, go watch those top 5s I had, but this one is good for binge watching. So my number 5 is Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
We might as well do this together, because that's on my list.
It's on your list? What number is it?
Yeah, Spartacus, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5. No, sorry, 4.
It's on your 4, yeah.
Sorry, it's further.
Again, I introduced it to you at the end of the day, didn't I?
Yeah, I'll let you do your,
I'll do my bit quickly and then we'll put in yours.
Yeah.
So I put this at number 5 because what it was one of those shows where I'd heard of it. I wasn't too intrigued by it because I thought it was just copying the whole 300 Gladiator sort of thing. And I was just a bit ignorant by it. And I watched the first episode and I was like, I'm not too sure about this. So years and years ago, I actually came down with chickenpox at the age of 30, which is quite dangerous for an adult to have. So
no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when I had it, I thought I've got nothing to watch. I've got Walking Dead, which was boring, and then this season 1 of Spartacus. So I sat through the whole lot and binged it, and it was just a really frigging good show. Damn good show. Mm-hmm. Good story. It's
underrated. I think
shot really well. I mean, there's a lot of cocks and penises all over the place, but if you can get past that, there's some damn good fight scenes, and some of the choreography and some of the John, you put me off now. Some of the set designs, the costumes, just very good. It's a typical revenge story. It's very, very typical gladiator story. Fighting for revenge. Kill my wife and kids. I want to get back for revenge, sort of thing. But I I kind of feel sorry for when they done the show. So when they done the show, I didn't actually realise this. When they did season 1, and the guy who played Spartacus actually came down with leukemia. And and he didn't know about it until the season 1 had finished. So what the company did, instead of doing season 2 whilst he was recovering, they done a prequel for technically season 2. So whilst they were trying to wait for him to mend and get through his treatment and whatnot, they done the prequel. Turns out, unfortunately, he died of leukemia, and then they recasted him. And Big G, do you know who they recasted him with?
I know he did a damn good job. Because
he done a damn good job, but the actor who plays him actually does the voice.
John.
He does the voice for JD Phoenix in Gears of War.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realise that.
And yeah, so going on to the third and fourth season, the guy who took over his place did a damn good job, and it is a damn good show. There's a couple of times where I was kind of shocked by some of the storylines and whatnot, but I highly recommend, and it's a damn good box set to get through. Big G, your say. Yeah,
my say. So what? Basically, this is like the first sort of. This is when I met Ant. I think very, very beginning stages of our friendship, and I wasn't I think I must have said it before. I wasn't as heavy into shows as I am now than before when I met Ant, and I did watch some of the major ones, but this is the first one that after watching this, I watched loads of series of one after another, and this one is the one where I was the first one I watched, and it is so good. It got me into it, the action, the story, everything. The fight scenes are in there are pretty silly. Sometimes I'll be watching it and I'll be telling people I'll spy, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're watching it for the boobs and dicks, isn't it?"
Yeah,
and I was like, "No." The fight scenes are incredible. I recommend it to anyone. It's so badass, and I like the character. Totally underrated. Totally 100%. There's a character in there. I think they used him in the CGI for The Hobbit. There's the grey.
Yeah, Crixus.
What's the character? Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
he plays the White Orc in the Hobbit series.
I like him. He's a really good character. So some of the characters are really good, and shame that the actor died. He did a really good job. And going back to one of the questions Goku said, I think there's a documentary on that actor after he knew he was going to die or something, so he was doing some sort of documentation on his thing, and I watched that as well. Pretty that
was on Netflix. I remember that. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if it's still there.
Yeah, I think it was called something like I didn't know or something, because he didn't obviously know he had it, wasn't it? So
that's it. Yeah.
It's a shame because I reckon he would have made it big after that show. He would have been a big actor.
Yeah.
How old was he? Was he quite young? Or he must have
28.
28, 29, something like that.
Oh, rest in peace, man. Wow.
I think he was
crazy.
Fit as well.
Yeah.
All the characters in there.
Question going.
What?
About who the guy was that replaced him.
Yeah, what about we know?
Didn't you ask him? Didn't you ask him what he's done before or what he was famous for or whatever?
No.
That's the guy that replaced him.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So even and I think the main thing is even when a character has passed away, they still continued, and it's still kind of gelled. Sometimes when you take a character out of certain shows, it's not the same, but it still managed to blend in well, and I think that's why it's in my top 4.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's a must from me.
So what's
that's going on my list?
If that's your number 4, sir, what's your number 5? We might as well carry on around the table with you.
Okay. Yeah. My number 5 is I didn't actually own this box set, but I borrowed it. I'm gonna do a Goku borrowed from one of I don't know if it's one of the lead lady that used to teach me, and she had a box set of it. It's called Friends. Well, I'm sure everyone knows.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. 5 people
with Monica Chandler Ross. Are you serious?
Yeah, everyone knows.
I thought that was going to be Little G's. I thought that was going to be Little G's number 1.
I
I don't have that in there, bro. I don't.
No way.
I sat and talked about it, and I thought about it, and I thought, you know what, I really have to put this in there.
Wow.
Just because. I think now looking back at some of the situations, it's actually annoying me. But when I was watching it younger, it was just like, oh my God. But now watching it back, it's really irritating to me because it's one of those shows where like it'll be going on in the background and I'll just, is this episode? Okay, cool. And I can sit down and I know what's going to happen, but I'm still be laughing about it, still talking about it, and still getting aggro about it. Like, and I'm like, why is she still doing this? What is she not thinking? What? It's annoying. I don't know. It has to make my have to be in my top 5.
Yep. Also, back to that, you know, when we're talking about ending, that's also one of them where actually the ending actually makes you feel sad because, like, if you know what the ending, you have people leaving their apartment, and it's like, oh wow, this is like these guys are leaving my heart. It's like these guys are out of your life again. It's like and it actually hits you.
It's like when Fresh Prince ended. It's just like, oh man,
exactly that. Yeah, it's like, oh wow,
I get that. I get that every single time. And one specific moment that like always happens from that show is Ross, where he always tries to impress her, and there's like a flashback of them trying to go out, and he gets all ready to take her out on a mall to the ball. But obviously her boyfriend comes in or something. But he was prepared. I can't explain it right, but there's some moments in there that really touch me a lot.
That is such an emotional. That's like the sitcom, isn't it? But the magic of that. And I remember when the last episode aired, guys. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was on Channel 4. It was back in 2004 or 2005, I believe. I was watching that, thinking, "Whoa, this is sad, man. I can't believe it's ending like that." It was,
it's kind of like almost like I grew up sort of with them, sort of thing. Like like certain bits in there, like I experienced as well. So. That's why it's in my top 5.
Wow. Okay. That's very, very surprising.
Yeah.
All right.
Choice.
Who'd like to go next?
I'll go just in case Gokul has mine. I'm going to go with my 5th one is Walking Dead. I mean, I know someone probably has it.
What?
But it's because I bet someone has it. But I mean, not the ending. Forget the ending. But I remember it coming out 8 or 9 years ago.
It's not finished, dude.
It's ongoing.
No, it's not over. You can't.
Are you kidding me?
You can't have it in your list. Start again.
Bro, it is finished.
It's not finished.
It's still.
I got another one anyway. Okay, forget that. That was hard, man. That was a good one. I had so much to say. Okay, back to my other one, which is on the borderline of that.
You had a backup.
Yeah. So the other one was basically Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is also what that was either that or Walking Dead. So I'll put Fresh Prince instead.
Yeah, put that on there,
Yeah. That was also one of those shows that actually make me feel like, when I was down, I actually watched that and it got me back into a good mood, and I used to love it. And that was when I came out when I was very young, and I remember I was 19 or 20. I was having shit days. I would just sit down and watch a few episodes back to back, and it just forget about everything.
Up, right?
Yeah. So even till this day, when they put it, I think they took it off Netflix, but they had it up, and I used to watch it. Like when I would sit down and eat, or something, I'll watch something, and I'll just watch Fresh Prince. I watch 2 or 3 episodes, or just 2 episodes there, and it just changed my mood.
It's one of those ones you can walk in any episode and you know what episode that is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You won't know what season or what episode, but you know what's going to happen because it's imprinted.
I'm eating and I'm not probably I'm just paying attention slightly, and I know what is going to happen. But I love it. I still laugh at it, even I can watch any episode and still laugh. It makes me crack up all the time.
Yeah.
Did you know? You probably might know this because you're big fans of the show. But there's an interesting fact about season 1. Do you know about it?
Listing fact about season 1. No, go on.
Right. So if you go back and watch, I think it's maybe the first 3 or 4 episodes. Will Smith doesn't know his lines in the show. So what he does is he knows his lines, but if you go back and watch it, so he'll say his line and then he will mutter under his breath the other person's line. So if he's talking to Colton, Will Smith will say his line, then he'll mutter he needs to be on time with what the script is. So go back and watch it and you can see that there's a part where he's like this. He's like, hey Colton, how you doing? And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty good, thanks.
Oh wow! I didn't know
That's so cool.
Honestly, go back and watch it. It's quite. So again, they did a big reunion, didn't they, recently?
Yeah, they got back together apparently. Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
Oh, did you guys know? This is something I'm going to throw in because I don't know if Fresh Prince is ever going to be mentioned in all the podcasts we do in the future and stuff.
I think it has. I think I mentioned it
in the future. He said, try and listen to what he says first.
Yeah.
Is it the butler played someone in EastEnders? I can't remember who it was because I remember watching EastEnders and thinking, hold on, that's the butler from Fresh Prince. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. I don't get it.
Yeah, wasn't he in Desmond's or something as well?
That's right. Yes, it was Desmond.
Do you remember Desmond's?
Yeah.
I think he means Desmond's Coronation Street or EastEnders or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, and I remember actually going on the internet and searching it when broadband actually came out and my internet worked, and I was like, "Whoa, it's him!" Okay, I put the two and two together. That was just mind blowing.
I never watched it. I never really watched that series.
It's good.
Probably Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
you've never watched Fresh Prince?
No.
What?
In all fairness, John, I don't think it's your cup of tea. It'll be your cup of tea, mate. You can give it a try, but
yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
but good pick, Lil G. Good pick. So,
yeah, good one.
So, John or Goku?
Yeah, nicely recovered.
Yeah. I'll go next.
Go on, John. John, what's your number 5?
That was in there.
Go on, John.
My number 5 is MASH.
Yep.
MASH. Nice.
Mentioned that in the previous episode.
It would have been my number 1 or number 2 of the TV shows that I liked the best.
Yep.
But I had to base this. I based this series or this podcast, shall we say, this list on shows that I would quite easily go back to and watch again and again and again. So.
Is this the one with like overpay?
My number 1, I've probably watched my number 1 5 or 6 times, whereas MASH I've probably watched twice. So
wow, okay.
I mean, if it was on, I have the box set already anyway. But if it was on Netflix or Prime, would I watch it again? Yeah, of course I fucking would.
Yeah, why not?
Because I really really enjoy it. I really but yeah. So MASH was my number 5.
Nice, good choice. Goku, what's your number 5, sir?
Good choice, yeah. Oh, right, my number 5 is a show you would never think, you'd probably, when you think of. You guys might know this. It's a BBC show called Hustle. Do you guys ever know? About this?
Shit! Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and I actually didn't watch it on TV. I watched it as a box set. I physically had the box set because my brother brought it home.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was 6 seasons. And I tell you something, it was one of the most coolest things I've ever seen on TV. And I must have been 15, 16 watching this. And you've seen it, Little G, right?
Yeah, that was entertaining. That was so fun. Especially as a kid, I was young as well. I was like, yeah, I used to love it.
Yeah, it's so I don't know, John and Gal, have you guys seen?
It's about the con artist. Con artists, right?
Yeah, it's basically 5 con artists, right?
Yeah.
And basically, it's the way the show is done is genius because every episode is a different scenario. So it's not kind of linked. You can watch, it's one of those shows you can watch a separate episode. Yeah, it kind of has the kind of backing story, especially, the thing is, it does because it has a beginning, middle, and an end. And the end was quite sad, as any good show is, right? But it's one of those shows where you can just jump in and watch it. And it's one of the famous guys from is Adrian Lester. He's also another British TV star. He's been in a lot of other things as well. And it's basically just these con artists, and they go out and they just con really rich and famous people. And it's a bit I don't know if there's another show that's I don't know, Ocean's 11. No, that's more of a bank heist. No, this is different. But the great thing about it is that they're not going out to con them for money. They're using it to help other people, and people who are impoverished or someone who's just lost his job. And it's basically Robin Hood, but it's 5 people doing it.
Yeah.
And every episode was it was so geniusly done, and there was always a twist at the end. And you think
I remember when it was on television, I watched a few of them, but I never watched the whole series. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, exactly, because it was on BBC, right? And I remember I used to see it, but I never used to watch it properly. I thought, okay, it's not my cup of tea. But then my brother was like, you have to watch this. I watched it, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And it was one of those things where you're taking a DVD, putting it in, okay, disc 2, next episode, But even then, it was like 2 episodes a day. I didn't binge that, but still, it was really good. So, yeah, that's
thinking back now. I didn't finish it, but yeah, it was. I remember watching a couple of episodes. But is there any way you can watch it now? As in any other?
I don't know. I think
it might be on iPlayer.
iPlayer. It could be on iPlayer.
Okay.
Yeah, if not, they'll probably have it somewhere. You probably even download it, buy it, on DVD or something. Yeah. So, as a box set. Yeah.
Nice.
Good shout, man. That was good.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, good pick.
Awesome.
Good pick. I think I'll have to give that a go. Actually, I don't think I think I've heard of it, but I've never watched it. So yeah, I'll add it to the list.
Definitely.
The few episodes of it I've watched, I did enjoy. So I may well go back and watch it.
Definitely.
All right. So
and the ending was sad. Yep.
We're moving on to number 4. Yep. The number 4 is now. So Big G, you've done yours, so you can't talk through this round. So shut the fuck up. So my number 4.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Exactly. So my number 4 is going to be very controversial, especially the times we're living in now. I think Big G, you know where this is going. It's Utopia.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Utopia.
I knew it was going to be it.
Utopia is so good. It's like not the piece of shit remake that's on Amazon at the moment. Please, folks, if you're listening, I implore you to watch the 2013 version, the British version.
I was going to ask you, Anne. You mentioned it in the previous episode, and you were waiting for the American version.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about now?
No, I'm talking about the British version. I was looking forward to see what the Americans would do with it, but they did a terrible job of it. It's really, really bad.
Okay, yeah. Because I remember you were waiting for the American version.
Yeah.
Okay, now hence why you're saying it's rubbish. Okay, cool.
So the only issue is that I can't really talk about the show without spoiling it, but considering the times we're living with coronavirus, lockdown and whatnot, it's essential watch. And it's the story alone is what grips you in. There's conspiracy. If you're into your conspiracy theories and whatnot, this show is very, very highly recommended. And then you'll watch it nowadays and think to yourself, holy crap, this could actually be happening now. There is a good reason for what is happening to the world, which is right now.
Scared the hell out of me. I only watched it recently, and it scared the hell out of me.
Exactly.
Like you say, considering what's going on in the world at the moment, it would freak you.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And I went back and rewatched it recently because obviously I remembered watching it back when it came out. And if you watch it again, like literally every shot in that show is like framed like a piece of art. Where the camera angles, to the colours, to the landscape, every single shot has been thought, worked out, and brought out beautifully onto camera.
Absolutely,
it's absolutely gorgeous to look at. Even though like the situation is quite a terrifying one, how they film it is just literally incredible.
Yeah.
And it just, I will never forget the first time I watched it. And again, it's just, it's essential, especially nowadays if you haven't seen it.
And also,
when you see that, sorry, Gal, I was going to say, because I think it was actually you, Gal, John, and you recommended this, and I'm currently watching it right now, and oh my God, and I agree with you, like, it's so beautiful. Like, when the Utopia, the title screen comes up, and you've got fields or something like that, you're just watching it, this is beautiful. I just want to, like, have this as my wallpaper on my desktop or something. It's just
I know, right? It's just,
right?
It's like, could you imagine this in 4K? It would look stunning in 4K.
Incredible,
absolutely
incredible.
So before we go into little,
I just want to ask.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Sorry. Also, you didn't touch on the soundtrack as well. I think we discussed about that. I think it goes so well with it.
Yeah,
the soundtrack's amazing. It's got this weird sort of like happiness to it sometimes, but at the awkward time, they do it deliberately. It's so weird, but I think the soundtrack's amazing for that.
It's quite disturbing how it's like there's a scene where someone's getting shot or murdered, but the music's quite happy to it. It's weird in a creepy way.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. And obviously, I watched this recently as well, and there's two moments where it got a bit scary for me. Was one not scary, but made me think. Where he talks about very first episode where he talks about the tsunami. How it was engineered. It's like not the main topic, and that made you think. I said, "Oh shit, yeah, that's good. That could be possibly true." And the second one is Coco. So before I spoil it, what episode are you on?
Okay, I'm literally on episode 5 of season 1. I'm going on to episode 6 now, which is the last.
Okay, then I won't mention anything. Okay,
are you sure? No, go for it.
No, Coco, seriously, don't let him spoil it.
Okay.
And that's why I put it in the top 5, because people need to watch it and go in blind and just have that shock factor that this is the realization and this could possibly be happening. You know,
I'm actually gonna watch it.
I think the reason it's in your top 5 as well is because of the current situation we're in as well.
That's what I say.
When I watched it,
he said that.
The amount of times I was like, "Holy shit, this could be holy shit!" I was literally, "Oh my days, this is scary. It's frightening. That's frightening."
This is it.
Amazing.
So we've done your number 4, Big G. So Little G, before we go to your number 4, where is Jessica Hyde? It's just a reference. Sorry, God. What's your number 4, sir?
It's a reference to this.
It's Black Sails.
Black Sails.
Has anyone seen it here?
I've seen it. I literally finished it yesterday.
No way. What did you think?
I thought it was the worst pile of shit ever. Such a bad show.
No.
Look at me, I'm a pirate.
I knew he was going to say. I knew he was going to say.
I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to...
Go.
Well, the show is like... I love everything pirates. Like, I watch anime, which is One Piece about pirates. I watched... I played Sea of Thieves. Like, I love pirate stuff. Like, I love the open sea, and it's like endless stuff. You don't know what's out there. So that's why I love like traveling the sea, like in general. So watching this, I didn't think that was going to be a good TV show, but Gal said he's watching it, and I thought, okay, let me give it a go. And I watched it, and I was literally after a few episodes. It's a bit slow to pick up. After the first season, you start getting into it, and it is amazing. And it's like these guys are like, I'm not going to spoil it because I love the show that much. But yeah, this guy, he goes on. There's a lot of drama with him and his crew. He gathers his crew, and there's drama between his crew, and basically he's out for revenge, and he's a bit insane. He's going out his way to, like, I think it was to take out the British Empire, and, like, with just his own crew and his allies he's trying to get. And you don't realize why he's doing it, and then as you go on later on, you realize, and he can't. I won't. Shall I spoil it? And what do you think? There's like something major.
I might actually give it a go. To be honest, I might actually give it a go.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I was just joking earlier.
Okay. Watch it, and then you realise, oh wow, and it's kind of like, it's like an iPad, oh wow, and they kind of bring like stuff that's happening right now. We're going through change in this world right now, so kind of like, okay, that makes sense, and you kind of like it's not just all about pirates. It is, but there's more to it, and it's like you can kind of relate to it. Like people can relate to the show quite a bit. But yeah, it's entertaining. It's got treasures. You know, it's got these wicked cool names like Blackbeard, Whitebeard. You know, all these like proper pirate stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah. But it's definitely one to watch, and I enjoyed that show. I binge watched that. I literally done that. I loved it so much. I binge watched that. I done that within a couple of weeks.
How many seasons?
You watched
4 or 5 seasons.
4 or 5 seasons.
I think it's 6.
Yeah.
You watched it right after me, innit, Lil G? Yeah.
I got hooked and I just again, I was working as well. If I didn't,
I think this is underrated. Like Baxter is definitely underrated. I think, and especially one of those. I don't think it's for everyone. I gotta say, like, if certain someone didn't recommend it to me, I wouldn't have watched it, to be honest. And I think you have to like love the sort of party thing to enjoy it, I think. And I think the reason why me and Little G loved it is a lot of the names reference to it is sometimes linked to some of the characters in anime as well. It's like, oh shit, he's Whitebeard. Oh shit, it could be Whitebeard or Blackbeard.
but those names have like relevance to it. They call him that for a reason. There's like some history. And then it was pretty cool. Yeah, so like it's nice. It's good to know.
Nice, good pick. Good pick, sir. Good pick. I honestly thought that was going to be in Big G's. I thought it was going to be in Big G's list. So it was good pick.
No.
John, what's your number 4, sir?
My number 4 is The Shield.
Whoa, your number 1 in your previous is number 4 in this one. Wow. Okay.
Nice.
I thought you weren't going to have any from your.
No. It's his list. It's his list. Shut up.
It's replayability, G. I've probably watched it all, the whole entire season. I've probably watched it twice.
Nice.
Is it?
I think it's on Prime at the moment.
Yeah.
I must admit, I've watched a couple of episodes on there as well.
Do you know what? Do you know what, John? I'm honestly considering going back and watching it again because me and my wife frigging love that show, and I think we've gone through quite a few box sets during lockdown, so I think we're going to go back to it. You know.
Yeah, you're going to have to. I mean, it is. Because a lot of it was based on a real strike team in a part of LA. They just made up the names. Do you know what I mean? But it was a bit very controversial at the time. It got a lot of flack from the police because the unit that they were so loosely based on, they put a bad mark, shall we say, on the police. So of course the police didn't like it being like glorified. But it got such a following and such like almost like a cult following that they just kept, through 7 seasons of it altogether. So made a huge impact.
I heard a rumor that it was actually meant to finish sooner, but then, like you said, the cult following caught on, and people wanted more out of it, so it lasted 7 seasons.
Yeah, I think it was meant to end around 4 or 5.
Yeah,
and it went a bit more. It is a very controversial police series. If you were to look up the top, say, 5 police dramas of all time, it is up there.
It's number 1 for me. Number one for police drama.
It was
really.
It's my like well, I said so before. It was my number 1 TV show of all time. But it's just this particular list, I have watched other things more, so that's why I pushed it down a bit.
That's fine. It's your list. It's your list, John. It's a good list so far.
That's awesome. I need to seriously watch more police dramas, actually, John. When you put police and LA together, you just know it's going to be amazing because they are the most controversial
police and drug gangs. Police and drug gangs, and the head of their department, as much as he dislikes them, and he's doing everything he can to try and figure out what they're up to. He has his own political agenda. He wants to be mayor. So he, in a sense, he's 50-50. He's happy to let them carry on and be the bad
spoilers,
guys.
John.
And, you can not spoil anything. You've got to watch it, And then the other half is like, I must reel those guys in. But he doesn't really do a great job of reeling them in because they're, in a sense, they're vaulting his, they're giving him the political stance that he can get. So, it's very good, very good series.
Yeah,
that sounds interesting. I'm gonna have to
give it a try, guys. Honestly, Gokul, what's your number 4, sir?
Definitely. Lovely. Okay, my number 4, again, it's one of those weird ones. So I'll talk about this. This box set, literally, again, physical box set, I watched this kind of in the time between A-levels and university where you have 3 months off and you've got nothing else to do. And this literally landed on my lap. And I didn't realize it was a HBO show, and HBO show called Generation Kill. Has anyone heard of this show?
Generation what?
Generation Kill.
No.
So, okay. Right,
an army one.
That's the one. Yeah, it's an army one.
I have watched bits of it, yeah.
Yeah, you know something? Amazing. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. So basically, it's about this Rolling Stones journalist. His name is Scribe, and he kind of convinces this general. So he goes to Iraq, and he's like, it's based on the Gulf War and stuff. And he goes there, and he's like, oh, you know what? I want to follow you, like a battalion for Iraq and stuff. And the guy's like, no, there's no way we can get clearance on this. But eventually, he does. And what's so great about this is because, again, I like my kind of modern warfare and military stuff. But, some of the shows are kind of hit and miss. But this one, it's a journey through Iraq. So it's kind of like you're watching it. And again, this is probably there was a show that I binge watched for 5 hours. There was a show that I was referring to, right? And and I think there's 7 episodes. It's a box set. It's only 1 season, but it does have a start, middle, and end. And the reason why there wasn't more seasons because there was no funding for it. But basically, it's like you're journeying in this Humvee with this journalist, right, through Iraq from Mosul all the way to Baghdad to the moment where the shit actually goes down and stuff. And it's so good. I watched it. I was like, whoa, this is like really interesting. The things that happen in it, you learn a lot about. I'm not sure if it's the SEALs or if it's the actual army, because there's like different regiments, right, or like different type of armies, as we say. But yeah, it's really good. I watched it and I was like, well, this is a really interesting, right? You have like night battles and you have like, just like these soldiers. It's got that essence of Jarhead in it as well.
Okay.
Whereas like people who are just literally doing nothing and they're trying to entertain themselves on the desert and stuff like this. And it's a good watch. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
what's it called?
It's called Generation Kill. Yeah, Generation Kill. I
think you've mentioned it before.
I might have. Yeah, I must have. I mean, I don't know if it's on any of the streaming platforms, but guys, if you get a chance, like if you want something that's a short series, I mean, it was only one series, but it's again, it's good to binge watch with, because you think back to when you watched it 4 hours ago and you're like, whoa, we started here. You feel like you've been traveling through the country with them, through the great things. So that's what made it really interesting. And I was like, that has to go on my list, like for sure. So, yeah.
Would you like another season out of it, or do you think it ended fine as it did?
It's a good question, and I'm happy it ended there. I think if they did another season, it would have not been so good, because it worked for whatever happened at the end to happen at the end, And if it was another season, it would have just been like another kind of cash grabbing opportunity does that make sense? For people to get more viewers to watch it, it would have not been good. I think it's great that it was just one season and it finished the way it did. So
nice, okay.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, literally close the book on that, which is worth it.
Generation, another one I've got add to the list because I've never heard of this one.
Yeah. Oh, mate, watch it. It's great. It's great. I might even have the box set. When lockdown ends, I'll send it your way, man. Definitely.
Sweet.
You
have
to see it. Yeah.
Can't promise I'll give it back. I'll give a go call swap it.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So we're going to move to number 3. So my number 3 is a show I watched a while ago, but I really friggin' love it, and I would love to go back and watch it again. And it's a show called Banshee.
Please don't spoil. Oh, okay.
Banshee.
Has anyone heard of that at all?
I've heard that rings a bell.
Right. So,
apart from being a vehicle in GTA, but
no. So does anyone know the actor called Anthony Starr? Does it ring a bell at all?
Anthony Starr.
Right, so Anthony Starr he plays Homelander in The Boys.
Right, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, he's the star of this show, Banshee, and basically he plays an ex-con man who is on the run from a gang that wants to kill him, basically. So what he does is he hides out in a small town called Banshee, and at the very start of the episode, the very first episode, he goes to a bar and he chats to this guy at a bar, and all of a sudden this fight kicks off, and the guy who he talks to ends up gets killed by a bunch of gangsters. And because he's on the run, he realizes that guy who just got killed was the sheriff of the town, and he takes his identity to hide from the ex-con, from the guy, so the gangsters trying to get hold of him. And
cool.
Yeah, so for 4 seasons, he's got to try and play to this town that he is a sheriff, or he is the new sheriff of the town, and people raise their suspicions and whatnot. There's a lot more to it without spoiling it to you, but it is a damn good show, and it's written by the guy called Alan Ball, who actually wrote the movie American Beauty, and he wrote a TV show called 6 Feet Under. I don't know if anyone told you that.
6 Feet Under, yeah.
Yeah, so... if you ever get a chance, I think it comes up on Sky every now and it would be great to come on Netflix or Amazon and whatnot, but Banshee is a damn good show, and I very, very highly recommend it.
I'm going to add that to the list. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, mate. Sold on that.
So
yeah.
Big G,
you sold me.
Big G, what's your number 3, sir?
Right. My number 3 is this one. I think it's been out for a while, and this is one of those ones where I watched continuously within a 3 weeks time frame at work and finished it. And during shift, I shouldn't be saying it live, but on there, I mean,
watching or listening to this.
Sons of Anarchy.
Yes. Yeah, that's my number 3 as well.
Yeah.
Well done.
Stop for a sec. So Gokul, it's your number 3 as well, did you say?
It's my number 3 as well.
All right,
yep,
so
yep.
Big G, do your bit, and then we'll hear Gokul's bit.
Yeah, I think it's just... it's in my top 10 for a reason because it's a damn good show. It's a hell of a good show. But there's one character in that is so annoying, and everything is caused because of her, and that's so annoying. Okay. But at the same time, it's a damn good show. And it's dearest to my heart. Yeah. And I think there might be one or two seasons where it's a bit slow, but the soundtrack and the whole sort of the family of those MC is pretty badass. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's one of those the best shows I think out there.
Yeah, is that nothing more you want to say, Gal?
No, I'll leave it to you, Mick, because I know you're the one. You're one of those ones that when it first came out, I think you were trying to get me to watch it, but I left it,
Definitely.
And I watched it after it all finished.
For sure. I mean, it was like when it was happening. So Ant and John was like before I met you guys and stuff, and I knew that. I'm sure at the same time you guys were watching it as well. Because when it came to the UK, Gal, it came on a channel called FX.
FX, yeah.
And I think to myself, it's FX, right? Yeah. And then it kind of went on to like five star. Is that the Channel 5 alternative for like American shows, something like that. And I remember watching it, reading the blurb and thinking, this sounds so interesting. It's a biker gang TV show. Finally they've done something which is on this kind of. I thought it would just be cliche. And watched it like the first season. I remember watching it thinking, "Oh my god, whoa! Like this is so underrated. Like seriously, like absolutely." And you learn so much about, for example, biker gangs. When you think of biker gangs, everyone thinks of like Hell's Angels, and you think of the gritty guys who ride around on bikes with chains and stuff like that, leather jackets. But there's more to it. It's like there's a family to it. Sometimes it's a group of outcasts, nomads in the real world that kind of come together, and they kind of. And there's a family amongst them, and some of the things they do are actually quite good. But this is, Sam Crow is actually, a drug. Well, like not prostitution. What's the word? Well, something to do with that kind of.
They technically do. They technically do prostitution in that show.
They do. They actually do, don't they? Yeah. They do.
Isn't it the arms dealing they do as well? Spoilers.
And arms dealing. Yes.
That's the main trade.
All the vices all mixed in. Yeah, but it's like again, like when you're watching it, don't you think you're kind of seeing like a journey? With the main guy, Jack Teller, isn't it, guys? And it's kind of like. It's so great, and I know you guys have seen this as well. Like, does anyone else want to chip in? Because this is,
I think John's the only one that's not seen all the way through. We said John.
Okay.
No, I've not watched it all. I've watched
it.
First season.
All I'm saying.
I would say some.
Oh no, I was just going to say, all I'm saying, after watching it, I just wanted a motorbike. Like, that's the first thing. I was like, these guys are so cool. I don't watch it. But yeah.
Nash has got the sleeve in it, but he's scared to wear it because apparently, the gangsters are like, we'll find out, and you can't wear a sleeve and stuff.
Come and cut him up.
I went to like Primark one day and I saw like they had like a £5 Sons of Anarchy pajama set, and I took a picture and sent it to Nash, and my phone blew up with messages. Oh my god, where is this? Where is this? How much is it? Can you buy me? I was like.
So for anyone that doesn't follow the show, so basically our friend Nash is big into being a gangster, but he's a little wimp, so that's why everyone's drilling him right now. So, but John, hear me out, right? So you will love season 3 because they go to Ireland in season 3.
Yes. They go to Ireland, John. Yeah. And in fact, after seeing that,
I don't know why I'm singing a pirate song for Ireland.
I think they're doing a prequel for the show now. I think.
Yeah, it's the Mayans, isn't it? It's a sequel, isn't it?
The Mayans.
Yeah. I haven't checked it out. But going back to the show, it's one of those shows. Like if you like I said, sort of. It's a bit gangstery, sort of like bad guy sort of thing. I think you go check it out.
And the soundtrack, wow, right? I mean,
soundtrack's amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
At the beginning bit, motorbike.
Yeah.
What's this song again?
To this world.
Driving through this world. I'm all alone.
Right.
On your motorbike.
So that's both your number 3s. So now it'll go to Little G. What's your number 3, sir?
I think this might be most of yours number 2, I guess. I don't know. It's Breaking Bad.
Yep, that's my number 2.
No?
There you go,
I knew
right.
it. Someone had it.
Right,
Yeah.
so hold on. So Little G, that's your number 3, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, and Gokul's your number 2, yeah?
That's right.
Right, so Little G, you go first, and then Gokul will have his bit after you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went. The show is about this like high school teacher, right? Is he a physics? He's a chemistry teacher. That's it. Yeah.
Chemistry
and
teacher.
then the chemistry teacher, and basically he's suffering from cancer, and like he needs money, and like he finds a student. One of his students is basically does meth, but he doesn't actually do it properly, and he finds out about it, and then he gets involved in this drug dealing world, and he becomes this massive, like famous, like fucking a designer, like creating the best meth like around, and he goes on to be called this name called Heisenberg, which I think everyone knows. It's like an iconic name, which is what was Heisenberg? He was famous for something, and then he took that. I forgot what exactly it was, but yeah, he goes around making shit ton of money, and he gets involved with massive like different guys like from high level drug dealer, and he gets himself in like deep shit, but he always pulls out with it, and he seems like a badass at the end of it. But this is also one of those shows that the ending was kind of like the hit or miss. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah,
Me,
totally
I
agree.
didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
I personally didn't like the ending, but I feel like everything I watched up to there was worth it, and I was just like, you know what, this was a good show. I don't agree with the ending, but I loved everything I watched. I just loved the whole idea. It was genius. You know, out of desperation, he does all this stuff, and then along with it, he loses a lot as well. His family, you know, his wife, like at what cost? And then his best friend as well, which he was kind of his enemy as well. It's kind of weird. So like. You go through this journey with this teacher, and it's just the stuff that he goes through is amazing. Yeah, go. I'll let you.
Incredible. Gaudi. I totally agree with everything you said, man. Honestly, like about the you know, just think about it. It's like this chemistry. When you think about it now, it's like this chemistry teacher, puny chemistry teacher, and he's like, you know what? I've got cancer. It's like, I don't think I've got many days left on this world. I'm going to fucking live my life and do something and use what I have. And I don't care. Just make something. He has good intentions for it, isn't it? But then as time goes on, oh my God, when you think back to it, it just gives you chills about how this character evolves. Isn't
it's
it?
how he changes. I love the character development, how he slightly changes. Yeah, it's amazing.
Exactly. How much money he's making.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's key. When you see how much money he's making, you're thinking, "Oh my God! You wish you had all that cash. What would you do with it? You know, would you buy yourself?
You know, I put myself in his shoe, and I was like, you know what? If I had that, I wouldn't give a shit. But I might die tomorrow. I'll just let me just do. You know, everyone. You don't know what you're going to do when when you're not. The days are numbered, and then you realize your true character comes out. So who knows? Like most people might do that. They probably disagree with what he does, but I agree. Whatever he's done, he always had good intentions, but it kind of turned out bad. But you know, I don't blame him for doing whatever choices he's made. You know.
One thing I want to add to that character development in that show is really good. And some of the characters we meet along those ways, really good characters.
Yeah. It's like every character just evolved, didn't it? And you're kind of learning about each character and stuff. Yeah, I mean, like we were talking about this earlier, like, and you watched it from the beginning, right? And a lot of us, we kind of rode on the well, for me, I know I rode on the popularity kind of event of it, because every week, I remember on the last season, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, did anyone see Breaking Bad on Facebook?" and all this and all that. And I was like, whatever. And then again, like I borrowed like the physical box set of season 1, and watched that, and I was like, oh my God. And it transitioned into Netflix, because that's when I first got Netflix back in 2013, and that's when they bought the rights and watched it. And it was it was just like you said, it just became like, is it like a cult phenomenon? Like, is that right?
Cult, yeah,
it's definitely cult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you see, you know who Heisenberg is. If someone walks in with a Los Pollos Hermanos t-shirt, you know what they're talking about. Like, it's little things. It's just
Did you ever know that there wasn't ever meant to be a season 5? It was going to finish on season 4.
No way.
Yeah, so if you ever go back and watch season 4, it in theory it does end at the end of season 4. It's one of those endings where it could carry on or it could have ended. And then obviously Netflix picked it up, and then we're going to give you money. Let's finish it properly, and let's push this thing. Let's get people to watch it. Going back to you, Little G, what you were saying about the character Walter White. There's one particular moment I love about his character, and there's one point where I can't remember if it's at the end of season 3 or if it's in season 4, where he could essentially stop what he's doing. He's done his job, he's earned his money, and there's something in him that just wants to carry on doing it. He doesn't have to do it anymore, but there's just that moment where he's like, you know what?
Nothing. Yeah.
You know, I could stop, but you know what? I'm going to carry on. You know, I'm going to.
Yeah.
He became the character Heisman. He literally, that was him. He said if he stopped, then in fact it was his legacy. Like, this is what he wants, and this, you know, he wants to be known for something. Like he can just be known for like a teacher, you know, and that's it. But yeah, it was genius. Yeah, I loved it. I understood why. You kind of understand why he went back. It was genius. Yeah, it was wicked. I loved it. Oh, dude.
Yeah, that scene at the end of season 4 with the wheelchair.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Did not see that coming at all.
Absolutely. It's so good.
I want to watch it again, man.
Definitely. You know something? It's good that you picked up on that, guy. Yeah. We're just on screen doing a really good impression of someone.
You know what thing that always you know the scene that always made me not cringe, it was like, oh shit, when his neighbor finds out the copper. He
got me.
He figures out.
He goes to the toilet. He goes to the toilet and he reads the book. Yeah,
mate. When that penny dropped, that was like a moment in TV history. Yeah. It was just amazing.
Yeah, I felt shit.
Yeah.
I think everyone's stomach just dropped to that point, isn't it? It was like...
Yeah, you're like, oh...
Yeah, I needed to go to the toilet after that.
Yeah.
No, damn good pick, Little G. Damn good pick, sir.
That would make a good podcast. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, going to the toilet?
No. Scenes either in films or TV shows that like made your jaw drop. But what the hell, you know? Yeah. There must be quite
John, you're coming up with so many podcast episodes. You come up with one in the last episode.
I think he's pushing him to host one, man.
Imagine it to the book, sir. Imagine it to the book right now.
Hey.
So, John, have you done your number 3? Are you number 3 now?
My number 3 is Fawlty Towers.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Funny as hell.
Again,
everyone knows who it is.
Goes back to what I said before. Yeah, have you all seen Fawlty Towers? It's an old series.
I've seen a bit of that. Classic.
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, G's looking at me thinking, what?
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Wasn't born then.
I've seen it.
Have you seen it in the 1960s or 50s or
70s? It is a while back, but it's...
Oh, it was an old show. Oh, okay.
It gets replayed.
You youngsters, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah, man. No, Fawlty Towers is really, really good. You had John Cleese, and he plays a hotel owner in Torquay, loosely based allegedly on a real hotel owner.
Hotel, right? Yeah.
And it's just a non-stop comedy ride. You know, they only made
12
I
episodes.
believe was 12 episodes.
Yeah.
2 seasons, 6 each. And that was it. Never went back to it, which I think was a good idea because at the end of the day, you get it right, and then you stop it. Otherwise, you might sort of like tail off, which a lot of series do.
Yeah.
Very, very funny. It's got a Spanish waiter who's always getting slapped over the head for, you know. Yeah. it is proper slapstick humor. It is really, really funny. Yeah, get a chance to watch it if you haven't seen it. Give it a shot.
John.
It's probably on Netflix or Prime. I don't know.
John, here's a question for you, right?
Yeah.
If they made that show today, do you reckon they can get away with it?
No. No. Well, they may do, but it wouldn't be the same because of the humor. The humor is very PC. It's like, there's one episode in it where it's like, they have some German guests come to stay, and all Basil Fawlty does going around, or John Cleese's character is called Basil Fawlty, all he does is go around and keep saying, "Don't mention the war." You couldn't do that now because so many people would complain. In the sense that the humor is gone. You know, I don't know. I would like to see something similar made, only for the fact of seeing how funny it could be without being PC. You know.
Yeah.
It's a series I go back to every now and again for a good laugh. So
good choice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So funny.
All right, Goku, your number 3 was Exposed, which was obviously Sons of Anarchy, wasn't it? So we'll go to my number 2 then.
Yep.
My number 2, we're going to go into the sci-fi territory now because I love my sci-fi. And there are so many great sci-fi shows out there that have obviously been finished, whatnot. But this is one that's near and dear to me. And I think I've even recommended it to Big G once or twice before. And that is the remake of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
This show is...
funny enough.
You know, the Sci-Fi Channel took a big chance with this. You know, if anyone has seen the original 70s Battlestar Galactica, it's very camp, very quirky, whatnot. And what they've done is they've done a complete U-turn with this remake. It is dark. It is, you know, gritty, and it is, you know, it's sci-fi, but with an element of realism to it as well. You know, again, not too much of going into spoilers of it, but it's one of those shows where it builds on the characters, it builds on the bad guys as well, and you kind of feel like, you know, which side should I pick? Who's going to win this war? You know, but there's also times where you ever watch a sci-fi series and say to yourself, where does this ship get its water supply? Where does it get its food from? Where does it get its energy from? Who does this and that? There are specific episodes in this show that show you how all this comes about, as well as telling this story. Again, I'll just go very basically with the story. It's basically there is a war going on between humans and these robot aliens called Cylons. And now Cylons have become... they look like ordinary robots, but now they have the ability to look like humans. So now it's a very case of... like The Thing, if you will. Like, who can I trust? Is this person a Cylon or is it an actual human? And every episode keeps you gripped as to, like, you know... it's very hard to explain. It's without you watching it. Some people might watch it and go, you know, I'm not too sure about this, but give it a chance and you build on the characters. But then an episode later on, you might be like, oh shit, he was a Cylon all this time? No fucking way. It's just like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Oh, wow. But you don't know who, that element's really cool.
Yeah, it's just, it's so incredible. And they've done such a good job to it. And the ending to it is like, you know, it could make sense if that makes any sense. It is really hard to explain without, again, spoiling the ending. But the ending is like a good theory to humankind right now, if that makes any sense.
Oh, sweet.
So
okay.
It's got 4 seasons, and I think it's got like 2 spin-off movies or something. But if you ever want a decent, and I mean like a decent one to really, sci-fi show to really get into, you know, don't bother with Star Trek or Mandalorian or something like that. Watch Battlestar Galactica because it is damn good show.
You know what? I'm a
Trekkie, but I have to admit I liked the original series of Battlestar and found the remake better. So yeah,
I remember.
I would happily watch it tomorrow.
I remember years and years ago that, you know, my parents asked me like, "Oh, what are you watching recently?" You know, we always talk about what shows we watch recently, and whatnot. And I mentioned Battlestar Galactica, and they're not sci-fi fans by any means. Apart from my dad, he's a bit of a Trekkie, but especially my mum, she's not into sci-fi. But I mentioned this show to her, and they were hooked. They were literally hooked, nicking all my box sets. And I think they caught up. They caught up, and they actually did catch up. And then I think the recent to last series was on Sky at the time. And then they're like, "Oh my God, did you just watch this episode? What are your thoughts in it?" And I'm like, I never get this kind of reaction out of my parents for any TV show, and especially a sci-fi show. So. Yeah.
Wow, if your parents loved it, it must be a bloody good show.
Honestly, dude, it pops up on Amazon Prime every now and then. If you've got nothing else to watch, you know, just give it a try. There's this part I like. I think it's from season 2 onwards. When the title comes up from the show, they actually show you little snippets of what the show's going to come up, what's going to come up on the show. And it's like literally done in like 20-second snapshot. It's so freaking cool. But yeah, totally recommend it.
Oh, that's great, man.
Community shows do that as well. They're little snippets, like you say, 20, 30 seconds, and you've got little bits. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's number 2. Big G, what's your number 2, sir?
I was going to be controversial, I think.
Try not to move your phone too much because I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Mine was going to be controversial because I don't think you're going to agree with me. Some people are not going to agree with me.
It's not my list, mate. It's your list.
Oh.
Game of Thrones.
Okay. It's your list, dude.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. I think...
number one, but all right. That's my number one.
It's your number one?
Yeah. I like Game. I'm going to rewatch it again. Yeah, I loved Game of Thrones. I just don't like the ending, but that was it. I loved Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was saying that.
Yeah.
We can do it together. I think my whole thing was this whole journey, I think when, like I said earlier, it was like from 7 when I started from the very beginning, and then it just felt like the journey to that point was just amazing. And then I thought I was like, when you actually catch up and when you actually, you're watching Game of Thrones, oh my god, did you know this? Did you know that? And that it was just like that. I never had that before because I never used to watch that before. But then I was like, oh, well, man, just like loads of people watching it, and it was just like good to be with like the people who are doing it. And whenever someone says, when I say, you don't watch Game of Thrones, now I get it. Now it's like shit. The people used to say that to me, like even Goku now. It's like I've never watched Game of Thrones, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I was watching people at work going on and on about Game of Thrones, and I didn't start watching it till about season 4. But I must admit, I went from seasons 1 to 4 very quickly. I caught up in no time. Because I did like it as a show. I thought it was very good. The ending, well, we could spend all evening debating the ending, but forget that. As a show, I thought it was very good.
Same, exactly. I think from the whole, apart from the ending, I think the beginning, before to the last season, it was brilliant. Everything just gelled well. Everything, the stories, and I need to say this as well. Like a lot of people, when they say Game of Thrones, they think dragons. I think there's more to it than that, though. There's the story, some of the jokes in there, some of the dramas, and it's so different and so it's probably might be outdated, but at the time when I was watching, it was like, whoa, some of the stuff you were seeing, it was just like, whoa, what? It was like little Peter Dinklage was like sleeping with prostitutes and stuff. It was just like, when I was watching it, it was like, what? Like I said before, the first scene I ever seen was me going into a room, little G, watching Cersei getting banged by the barbarian, and I was like, what? Is this a TV show? I don't think a TV show has actually done that sort of whoa, what? And there's very weird and twisted stuff in it as well. So I can go into it all day, but but it could have been easily my number 1 box set, but there's something way better. So that's me. I'll let a little D do his bit.
Yeah, you've pretty much said most of it. Yeah, I mean, it's. I watched it I watched it when it first came out. Yeah. Someone told me about, it's a show called Game of Thrones. It wasn't a hit or anything. I started watching it, and then it was like, wow, this is pretty entertaining. The drama of what's going on, and it's just like, like Gal said, everyone's like, it's not all about the dragons and all that stuff, but it was about literally you don't know who was going to die or what was going to happen. You couldn't predict the show. So every season, something will happen at the end, and you're like, whoa, I didn't expect that. Where the hell did that come from? Yeah, you're like, every season does that. And you're just like, whoa, what the hell? It keeps you on your feet. You're like, oh my god! And you start, because I actually got hurt. I was like, oh my god, one of my characters died. And I was actually hurt inside. I was like, oh my god! I was like, you actually feel bro? Because and you start to by season 3, you start to not having it. You stop yourself from having attachments to certain characters, just in case you might die. Maybe not.
That is true. That is so true.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not gonna like this guy because they might kill this guy off. Yeah, no show's ever done that. that. And one thing I want to say as well before I get OG, when I watched the first season, right? My friend was obviously watching, like, I was telling him what's going on and stuff. And there's a character in there, a certain character, I won't say that's a spoiler. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's going to make it here. I think he's going to be the king, blah, 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 blah. And what do I know? Bang. I was like, the show killed him off. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Killed him off.
Good, like,
yeah. Don't spoil it, but yeah,
with the show, guys.
Yeah, you just don't know. This is why I love this show. It's unpredictable.
It's like a meme now, because every time someone new watches it, they think they put that guy character's face in, and they think, he thinks he's going to be the main guy, and they're like laughing away. Yeah. I was one of those guys also.
You never expected, from where it is to where it ends, you had never expected what was going to happen. And then the last two seasons, you kind of know where it's going because it's coming near the end. But like the first 6 seasons, it's enjoyable. The drama's amazing. So anyone who's out there going to watch it, you will love the first. I mean, you'll enjoy it up until, I enjoyed every season up until the last. I don't want to spoil it. I didn't like it for my own reasons, but I think they had every wicked show like this. It's so hard to have a good ending. There is no good ending because it's hyped up so much, so you're not going to have a good ending. So, like, you're going to still enjoy the show anyway. So don't worry about the ending too much. The show is still amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask, guys, is the show quite like consistent? You know, when you watch like certain shows, like the first season, like there's certain camera like tricks and stuff like that, or the way that the camera is it consistent all the way through, or is it something where it builds as it's gaining more popularity?
So you notice that you see first 2 seasons, they don't have the budget, but third and fourth season, you see the budget stretch more now, and you can see the difference. But in the sense of cinematography-wise, it was kind of like the same, but only on the budget-wise, it started getting bigger and bigger sort of thing, because you can see it. You can see, like, visually as well, it was changing. But it was still consistent, I would say, as in actors and everything, like the prop-wise and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I guess that doesn't matter, because if it's a good show, if it's got a good story like you guys are saying, then that's what happens, right? So,
like, the only downside is the ending, but the beginning and everything, the character development, everything and all that is spot on, man. You can't fault it. I can't fault it.
Tyrion was
my letdown is just I can't believe, like, the directors, they had like three season worth of content. I know I go on about people, long, stretching it out and making, filler episodes, but they had content to make, like, even the creators said they got content to make 3 seasons, but they just rushed it and finished it in one so they can do another project, that was like a kick in the teeth for the fans, I think.
Shame.
Yeah, good choice. So it's really weird because when I watched, so basically I watched Game of Thrones from day one, and when Sky advertised it, it was pretty much, they advertised it as the next Sean Bean drama, like, medieval drama sort of thing, and it never really kicked off. So for the first few seasons, Gokul, again, I don't know how far you are, but this isn't really a spoiler because everyone knows what it is now.
Yeah.
But no one heard of Game of Thrones until they heard of the Red Wedding. Once the Red Wedding was announced and people were talking about that, then everyone and their mothers started watching it. And by the time they caught up, season 4 happened, and again, something else happens in season 4. I won't spoil it for Gokul, but it was just weird. It was I call it the Breaking Bad moment, where I watched it from the beginning, but no one really watched it till later on, or it didn't get picked up till very much later on.
Yeah.
It's like Big G was saying, the budget never really kicked in till then and whatnot, so...
But in a way, for me, it kind of worked well, because if I had watched it in the beginning, I would just been like, this is rubbish. So later on, I'd be people talking about it. No, I started, it's rubbish, I'm not liking it. But because it's been so later, and I had all those seasons available for me, and I watched it in one go, one flurry, and it was just like, that's amazing. If I had a break and, throughout it, maybe I might have felt different.
Nice. Sure. So, good choice, sir. That was your number 2, and Little G's number 1. But now we're going to Little G anyway for your number 2, sir. What's your number 2?
It's The Office. Maybe because I watched it recently.
Yes!
Good choice.
I love that show. I love that. This is the bench. You know what I do? I was like, if you don't like Office, you don't have a good. I mean, this is harsh, but you don't have a good sense of humor. Like anyone who loves
the British version or the American version.
American.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the British one. I've seen the British one. It's not like good.
Yeah, fuck the British one.
It's
rubbish.
hilarious, man.
One of those very, very few occasions where the Yanks actually made a better product than the original.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They don't usually, but they did in this case.
Definitely.
I'm very surprised.
I only watched
that you
the
did
show
that.
like last year. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Eh?
Why is that? No, I think this is why I loved it so much, because I literally, this is one of the shows again I binge watched. I was just like, whoa, this is hilarious, and this is because I think when it came out years ago, didn't it? Like 10 years ago, and people were saying, that term, what's it called? Yeah, that's what she said, and then all those jokes were from this. And I didn't realize until I watched the show, oh my God, this is where they're referring to. And I was laughing my head off. Yeah, that's what she said. It's from him, Michael Scott. From that show. It's hilarious, dude. And it's like, most of the episodes with him in it, I'm not going to, because I think after a certain season, he's out of it. I think it's the last season he's not in it.
So there's 9 seasons, and he leaves halfway through season 7.
Yes, and after that, it's good, but it's not as good with Michael Scott.
No, of course not.
When he's in it, it's just so random. Yeah, he was the main character, but he had this thing about the show. It's just so random, you can't predict it, and it's just hilarious. Like, it was just a joke, and I would laugh every episode. I don't think there was an episode I didn't laugh up until after season 1, Michael Scott left. But it was like, it made me. Like, I would come like after a shit day at work or whatever. I'll watch an episode. I'll just be laughing. My brother will come down and watch, and we would just be cracking up like so much. It was hilarious. But yeah, it is one of the best comedy shows. I'm going to rate it very highly. Like, I think I enjoyed that more than Friends. Like any of these other ones, like Big Bang 3 or whatever. This is like was so funny. Like, it's just the comedy, and it's just hilarious. Yeah. So that's why it's definitely on my number 1.
See, that's why I'm shocked that you picked The Office, because I thought, because of you being a gamer and a bit of a geek sort of thing, I thought Big Bang 3 would be more up your street.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, but I get it. I kind of like the Big Bang thing, but I think it just got. I just kind of like. Yeah, it was. I get it. I mean, like the first 3-4 seasons, it was good, and I get the point of it. But it was just like, no, it's alright. I kind of got. I watched it. I've seen it, but it's not. It's not amazing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I agree. I think out of all of them, I think Office is kind of. But I haven't finished it, so had I finished it, it might have been in my top 5.
Yeah.
See, it's in my top 5, but it's on a top 5 for a different episode that we're going to be doing in the future. In the future.
Wow.
But I love The Office. The Office is one of those shows where, again, I watched from day one as a friend recommended it to me, and season 1, you have to be honest with little Julie, season 1 isn't all that, is it really? It's one of those seasons where
No.
you decide whether you're going to continue with it or not. But if you continue with it and you're along for the ride, it friggin' pays off, right?
It's good. Yeah, it pays off so well.
Yeah.
You get a lot of laughter out of it.
This is it. My wife, well, she was my girlfriend at the time. We were living together, and she caught me watching an episode, and she was just like, "Oh my God, this is so funny! I really love it." And I think at the time, it was only up to season 3, and nowhere in England has The Office, like DVD or anything. You couldn't find it anywhere. So we had to import the box sets over from America. And
No way.
So so I think season 4 was the newest series at the time, and there's 9 seasons. So every September we would get a new box set the next season, and we were just like, we cannot wait. It's like, oh my God, September's coming. That means a new season of Office box set's going to be coming.
I could feel that excitement. Yeah.
Order Chinese food, and we just binge the whole box set because it's so good. It's such a good season to get through. Yeah. And I never forget those days.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Mm.
It's just so feel good, isn't it? In the weirdest way.
It is a very good,
You watch it.
Very good feel good show.
It does. Yeah. It does lift you up. Honestly, like, I wouldn't put it up there. It always lifts me up. If I just put a random episode in that season 3 or season 4, you just start laughing. Like, literally hilarious shit that they get out of the other thing. So,
brilliant.
Yeah,
makes me want to have a boss like Michael Scott. But yeah, such a good show. Very good episode.
Yeah, it does.
He's such a good character.
John, right, so we'll move over to John's number 2. Sir, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is an old TV series called Bottom.
Oh, yeah, I remember Bottom, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else watched it.
The late great, with the late great Ralph, yeah.
David Edmonton. Yeah. It's very puerile. The humour in it is very puerile. I must admit, I like that sometimes, you know. Very, very funny. Again, PC couldn't do it today. I think they only did a couple of seasons of it, 2 or 3 seasons of it. But again, if it's on the television today, it's like at the back. You know, it's not pushed to the front because it's quite PC. Yeah, it's quite funny. The admin, yeah, you'd have to. It's a particular type of humor, I suppose.
Yeah, I remember watching it.
One way of looking. Yeah.
How old is this?
It used to be on BBC Two on a Friday night. I think it's like late 80s, early 90s, something like that.
Yeah, well, I think it was the 90s it was out, was it? Yeah, 91 to 95, 3 seasons.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
What's the story? Like,
these 2 guys, they're like flatmates.
Okay.
And they don't work, so they don't have a lot of money. And they just literally, they have no job, no money. They live in Hammersmith. It's basically like slapstick comedy.
Okay, Hammersmith. Wow, just up the road. Cool.
Yeah, it's legit. But they did 5 stage shows of it. It went live on our tour. They did 5 different tours. It's a bit of a cult following now. Apparently, there's a bench. Because in the series, at the beginning of every series, they're in their flat looking out the window, and there's a bench. There's always this little part of the road that they keep looking at they can see from their window. And a few years back, Rick Mayall died. I think Hammersmith Council and a load of fans all got together and they've put a bench there because there was a beginning. A part of the intro was them sitting on a bench, and one would slap the other, rolled up newspapers or something. Well, they've put the bench there now as a dedication to It has a huge following, but again, it's a series that's 20 odd years, nearly 30 years old now. So probably beyond some of you guys, but it gets redone every now and again on the telly. But it's something you'd have to look for now. It's not necessarily.
I don't remember it. I don't recognize the name.
Quite funny. There were only like half-hour episodes again. I think some real short ones. Give it a go.
Cool.
Might find it funny.
Cool.
I love it. So I've watched all of them probably 4 or 5 times. I get a giggle every time.
Yeah, I remember watching it myself. I was in my early teens at the time, and I enjoyed watching it then. It's just a shame he died. He died quite young as well, didn't he?
Yeah, it's very pure. It's quite puerile humour, like schoolboy, smutty humour, But it is funny. I remember watching it obviously when it first came on in the 90s. So I again, like Ike was saying about being there from day one, I've watched it from day one. And so since the 90s, I've probably watched the entire series 3, 4, 5 times probably. I never get tired of watching any of them.
That's amazing. Yeah, wow.
Good pick, sir.
If it was on constantly, I would probably watch a couple of episodes every day.
Oh.
Which is what I do with my number 1.
Oh.
He's number 1. I've actually lost count of the amount of times I've watched it.
Wow.
I think I know what it is. Wow.
I watch a couple of episodes, 3 or 4, maybe 5 episodes every day. Even though I've seen them all before, I know exactly what's going to happen, but I still laugh every time.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Awesome. Right, so we'll move on then. That was your 2. We know what Gokul's number 2 is, because that got ruined as well.
Yes.
It was Breaking Bad, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Okay. So we'll move round to mine. We're into the number 1s now, apart from Little G's, because his got ruined. Sorry, Little G. Right, so my number 1 is one of those shows where I do you know what we done that episode where it was our favorite TV shows, right? And I kicked myself because I went back and listened to it, and I thought, shit, I forgot to mention this TV series, and I was like, damn it, maybe we'll do another TV series where I can mention it again. So this series has 8 seasons and 3 spin-off films, and it is it's a TV series called 24.
Oh my God!
Oh, yes. I love 24.
I remember you're talking about.
Yeah, Jack Bauer, aka Kiefer Sutherland. It is a fantastic show and such a easy premise to it, and it's so cleverly done. If you've never watched it, Little G looks confused. Have you ever seen it, Little G?
No, I heard people going on about it, but I never got down to watching it. But if this is your number one, I'll probably end up watching this now.
So just very quick, just a quick premise of the show. So basically, Kiefer Sutherland works for the CTC, which is a counter-terrorism CTC or CTU? CTU, sorry, counter-terrorism unit.
CTU?
Yeah, CTU. Yeah. And basically, when he starts the episode, there's a reason it's called 24, because every season it takes place over a day. Every episode is an hour of the day. And he will say at the start of the show, this episode takes place between the hours of 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. And then that hour is that episode.
No way. Yeah.
So literally every season has 24 episodes in it. So, and 8 seasons is long, yeah. So so when you watched it on the TV show, the show itself is only 45 minutes long, but when you watch it on a channel like Sky One, for example, you have adverts to it, don't you? So if you add the adverts on top of 45 minutes, it's an hour show. So every time the show goes to like the next scene or something, it will have a timer and it will go down to what the hour is. So when you come back to it, it's like 4 or 5 minutes later, because that's where the adverts would have been. And it's just so good. And it's just so good because it's all about terrorism and catching the bad guys. And every time there's a cliffhanger at the end of every episode, so say, like I said, it goes down from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., the very last shot would be the timer going like from 1:59 down to the last 5 seconds, and it cuts. So you have to watch the next hour, which is the next episode. It's so good, and it's such an easy little premise to it, but it grips you so well.
Very, very good concept. I used to love that concept.
Exactly. It's like if I don't actually own them anymore, but if I had the time, if I didn't have kids,
I used to. I still got them.
Yeah, if I didn't have kids through lockdown, I would have easily sat through the whole 24 all over again. It is a phenomenal show, and anyone who says differently is, obviously it's very cheap and easy where it comes to like, Jack Bauer always winning and whatnot, but it's how he does it, and he's just the man. He is, fuck Jason Bourne. Jack Bauer was the man.
I'm surprised you put that as your number one. I didn't see that coming.
No, it's like I said, I wanted to mention. I was meant to mention it in the other episode, and I was like, good God, how did I leave this out? I had to bring it up.
I used to have. Do you remember the office phones? Their phones had a particular ring, didn't they?
That's right. Yeah, that's it.
I used to have that. I think a lot of people did have that as a ringtone on your mobile.
Yeah, so every season has like a decent premise to it. But when there's 8 seasons, but if I had to pick one season out of 24, season 5 is the best season in 24 ever. There is. When you find out who the bad guy is, you're like, holy shit! It is a better twist than finding out Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. Like, holy fuck. It was unbelievable. And I would just go back and watch that any day. Even though I know it's coming, I'm going to be like, no way.
I was going to ask you a question, man. Is there like each episode like different, or is there like a continuing theme?
It continues. It's one whole day, isn't it?
It's like the whole day.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, is each episode like saying there's like a one story, and then another episode is like a different story, or is there like a whole theme throughout the whole thing?
Season is one story.
They're basically
they'd be like say a terrorist would plant a bomb. So and it might start at say the hours of say 2 till 3 a.m. But what happens between 2 and 3 a.m. is they find out that there's a terrorist come into the country with a bomb or whatever, and they got. So then the rest of the day is spread over the. So there's 24 episodes. So each episode is an hour. So they might find out between 2 and 3 that there's a terrorist. Between 3 and 4, they might find out he's actually come into the US now. And then it's trying to find who he is and what is he going to do? Is he going to plant a bomb? So, and then every episode each week is a different hour of that day. So the story progresses. I used to love the box set because you were able to watch it all in one go, whereas every week you'd watch it now and think, you're waiting for the following week for the next hour to see what happens. Do they catch this guy? Does he get away?
There is more to it, Big G. Like, it's not just about taking terrorists. There's like a part, like John said, we know there's going to be a bomb planted and it's going to go off at a certain time. But then halfway through the episode, like, his daughter could get kidnapped, and then he's got to sort that out as well as try and sort out a terrorist and all sorts of other little stories. And this all happens in the space of a day. And you've got to realise to yourself that, this is all going to end in, 24 hours. And when it ends, we're not going to see the next day because the next season will be like a year later or something. So...
That's quite good.
It's amazing. It's like Swedish Anne, isn't it? Because it happens in like real time, and that's the craziest idea of it, isn't it? It's like like you're watching, and even if I can imagine binge watching this, man, it will probably be the best show to binge watch.
I was just thinking the same.
I don't know why other shows didn't carry it on.
Right, exactly. That the whole concept. It's like you think back to 3 o'clock, and it's like the light is when you see the daylight, and you think, oh wow, this feels like real life. Like I've watched the last 6 episodes were in complete darkness, and you're seeing it in real time as Jack Bauer's doing his thing. It's it's 24 hours of him. It's just.
Was it in the first? Was it in the first series where they were on the threat of being shut down? In the middle of them trying to catch the bad guy, the ones higher up wanted to shut them down, and there was the big argument then with the bosses to try and say, no, we need to catch this guy. So now you're like on the edge of your seat thinking, shit, they can't close the department down. They haven't caught the bad guy yet. It was. Yeah.
It's intense, Big G. It's intense. Every episode has some sort of tension to how is he going to do this? How is he going to fix this situation? How are they going to catch this guy without getting caught or make it obvious? So there's always something that will make you want to carry on with it. And I just highly recommend it enough. If you've never ever watched it, just watch the first season and see what you think from there. And then if you ever get to season 5, dude, fuck me, you'll be on the phone straight away. Be like, Ant, what the fuck?
I'm serious. Oh shit, I'm intrigued.
Right, so that's my number one. That's my number one. That's what had to be done. What's yours, number one, Big G? Number one all-time box set, sir.
Okay, I think Goku might have his one as number one. My one is, I think I might have mentioned it in the previous episodes. It's Lost.
Brilliant. Nice. Is that your number one? Wow.
I'm gonna start. Yeah,
amazing.
I'm gonna start by saying previously on Lost.
Previously on Lost.
On Lost.
Friggin' love that.
Yeah, I think. Great. Yeah, I think as I mentioned it before, the intro for that episode is just amazing, and I think it's the first one where it just kept asking questions. I wanted answers straight away. It's like, why is there a polar bear here? What are they seeing things? What's going on? And it was just riddled with things in there, mind-blowing things, and it's just and there's an element of not time travel, but it's hard to explain that one. And I think it's the first one to do forwards and flashback. Flash forwards, is that new? I think that's the first time I've seen it in a
flashback.
Yeah. So it was that was pretty cool, and the ending is still
towards the end. It was flash forward though, wasn't it? Towards the end.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
right.
True. Yeah. So I think there's so much in that I could talk about, but I think for me it's the setting of the island and finding out the mysteries of it, and finding out a plane, but you find out how that plane got there and find out everything. Everything does get explained, but it's just the fact that you have to wait and you see it. I love stuff like that. So
it all connects eventually at the end.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think I remember me and Goku share the same thing because we used to watch it together, episode by episode when they were releasing, and he would be on the phone like, "How did you watch it? Oh my god, there's a bunker! Oh my god, the play!"
There's so many theories.
Guys, when the episode's finished, like within 10 seconds, I was on the phone to Big G, and I was like, "Dude, did you see? What do you think? The numbers? What do they mean? Oh my god, is it electromagnetism? What is this?" Like it was, and I think, and because you saw it as well, you were probably exactly the same. Like you probably watched it and thought, "Oh my god!" Like Big G was saying, like all these questions, isn't it? And you know something, because you said this on the previous episode about top 5 TV shows. It made you cry, right? I don't think a show has ever done that. I mean, right now the ending. I mean, it was just because you look back and you think it got to this stage. It was a journey. Like you learned about all these characters, and even though they were misfits in some ways, and you kind of got to know these characters so much. I mean, Charlie, the guitarist, and Hugo, the millionaire, who and all these characters, and they all came together, and then it finally ended. Exactly. And I was listening, and I was thinking the other day, I think one of the main reasons what made tears come down my eyes is the music.
Yeah.
The music was
the score in that is good.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the guy who does all like the Pixar movies, Michael Giacchino or something like that. That's him, right? Absolutely fantastic. It is, yeah. But no, seriously, go back to it, Big G. This is so much to say about this one, right?
I just can't. I think it's the one TV show that I fell in love with. We can literally sit down and talk about each an individual episodes, but obviously, I can only remember like fragments of bits and stuff that I liked and enjoyed. But it was good. It's a good. If anyone has not seen it, I don't know why you haven't, but good show.
Gurkle, is it your number one as well?
Yeah. It's not actually. No.
So
it's not. Oh.
Before we get to your... So go on.
Yeah.
Carry on. Go on.
You know why? Because I was thinking about it, but in my head, because I didn't see it as a box set, I kind of watched it after every season when it came out. Like, on the day it got released, I was watching it, so I didn't really consider that, But still, I so badly wanted to put it in. Like, I just knew it was going to get mentioned. I'm so glad, like, you put it as your number one, Gal. Like, seriously, I'm very happy. Yeah.
I need to tell you a quick story about Lost very quickly. I forgot to mention it in the previous episode. So when I was working at Blockbuster Video, a woman came into the store and she had a box of donuts, and she was a representative for Mercury FM. Do you remember that, John? Mercury FM?
Yeah.
And so Mercury FM was basically like
quite good radio station. They were
a radio station for Crawley and Hawley, essentially. And they said, "Oh, we're gonna do a radio interview. Would anyone like to be on the show?" And we'll give you this box of donuts. And we were just like, it could be about anything, but we'll take the donuts anyway. We were just kids at the time, bollocks, whatever. Yeah. So later on, so she leaves them there. We stuff our faces, and then all of a sudden, I get this phone call. It's Mercury FM on the phone, and they're like, "Hi, is this such and such?" I said, "Yeah, this is he." She said, "Hi, this is Mercury FM. We just want to talk to you about Lost, the TV show Lost, right?" So I'd heard of Lost, but I never actually watched it on TV. I watched it on a box set. So she says, "Oh, I'm going to ask you some questions about Lost." And I'm like, in my mind, shit, I've never watched the show. What the fuck's she going to ask me? So she wrote. So the day she rung, I believe the finale for season 1 was going to be premiering on Channel 4 that night. So she was asking me questions like, "Oh, I don't know about John Locke's character. What do you think of him?" And I'm like, "What do I say?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's." So my reaction was, "Yeah, he's a bit dodgy." And then there was this pause, right? There was this pause, and she's like, "Yeah, he is. Don't you think he's like, he is a bit dodgy, isn't he? Yeah." So I was like, "Whew, thank God I passed the first question." And then a few questions carried on. I can't remember what they were, but then the final question was, she says to me, "So John Locke, what do you think he's carrying in that bag of his? What do you reckon's in the bag?" And I was like, "Oh, what do I say? I don't know." And at the same time she was talking to me on the phone, a customer was trying to get my attention. So I was like, "I don't know, he might have some knives in the bag or something." And she was like, oh, yeah, he might have something like that. Yeah, he might stab such and such. And I'm like, oh, good God, what am I talking about? I'm going to come out like a right prat on the radio. So all of this for a box of donuts. Oh, it's not worth it, mate. It's not worth it. So, but yeah, that was quite funny.
That's hilarious.
So,
wow, that is so cool.
So, Goku, it wasn't your number one. That means we go round to John. John, what is your number one?
Yep.
My number one is a show I don't think any of you have heard of. I'm pretty sure none of you have ever watched it.
Is it before we were born?
It only ended a few years ago, so it's nothing from the 60s and 70s and any of that old lot. It was a show called Still Game.
Yeah, I know Still Game. It's the Scottish show.
Scottish one.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like Mrs. Brown's Boys in the sense that it started in the theatre. It was a theatre show, and it got quite a big following, and they ended up making a TV show of it. And basically, the characters in it are young characters that have been done up in makeup to make look like they're old people. So the premise is basically these two old duffers, these two old pensioners, and it's kind of like the antics they get up to, and like they've got obviously pensioner friends, and yeah, they get up. All of them, they get up to like there's a woman in it who's a bit of a gossip. There's a guy who runs a little shop. There's a guy who runs a bookie.
Is that the Asian guy?
The Asian guy runs the shop.
Yeah, the Scottish Asian bloke. He's funny, man.
Yeah, Scottish Asian bloke. And the thing was, you never his wife in it, right? You never see her face.
That's right.
And she's always like either carrying boxes or got her back to you. So I think it was nine seasons. And for the 9 seasons, I think it was 6 episodes per season, you never saw her face. So, but she only spoke in Indian language. I don't think they ever tell you which one it is. But so he would say something to someone like, in my day, I used to be quite a stud or whatever, and then she'd say something detrimental in Indian, and you'd see the subtitle of what she said, and she'd be slagging him off. And it was so the humour was really, really good. They had a couple of serious bits, like one of the old guys used to smoke quite a lot, and then round about season 6, I think, or something like that, he ends up having to have one of his legs cut off from the knee down because he smoked so much and the circulation got really, really bad. So there was little bits of reality tucked in there, but it was mainly a comedy show, But I watch a couple of episodes probably every day of that series. It's just so, for me, it's just so funny. I get the humour in it from day one, even though it being Scottish, a lot of people might have trouble understanding what they're saying. But I think having been brought up in Ireland, I was able to pick up their accent straight away. So, I remember a guy at work. Do you remember Billy Shankland? And I think you might know him, G. Remember Billy Shankland? He was Scottish. He was talking about it one day, and he said to me, "Oh, you should watch it. You like your comedy shows. You'd like this." And so that's kind of how I got into it.
Okay.
Wow.
It's finished
I'm surprised there's not an old one.
John, the guys who do the show Still Game, I don't know if you've heard of it. They did a show before that, and it's like the comedy sketch show they did, Chewing the Fat. That's really good as well.
Chewing the Fat. That rings a bell. Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, the sketch with the 2 lighthouse men is hilarious.
Yeah.
What's the other one called?
Chewing the Fat is called.
Chewing the Fat.
Yeah, that's like
again, they did live shows as well of that, and then turned it into a little TV show. I think that only had a couple of seasons. It didn't run as long as Still Game. But a lot of the characters in Chewing the Fat are in Still Game.
Yeah.
I think there's probably about 6 of them from
that's why I thought I'd mention it just in case.
They're in Still Game as well. I mean, I think it's still on. It's on Netflix still.
Yeah.
So any of you want to type it in and watch maybe the first episode, it's only a half hour long. Really, really funny though. You might like it. You might.
It's got to be your type of comedy, hasn't it, for it?
Yeah. You have to be able to understand what they're saying, I suppose, as well. So yeah.
Nice.
But, I mean, like I say, it's my kind of humor. I watch a couple of episodes every day. It gets me in a good mood for the day.
Yeah, it's your list, mate. It's your list. It's a good choice. Yeah. Good choice, sir. Yeah. All right, Gokul, down to the last person, sir. The last one. What is the number one? It better be worth it, sir.
Right, number one. Well, yeah, guys, if you probably know me now, if it wasn't Lost, it was definitely going to be House.
House, yes! I called it!
Yes, we did.
The little thing, so the guys are reacting because earlier today on WhatsApp, they predicted, and they got it right. Do you know what I mean? It's just, for me, the thing is, the reason why this went to number one, because it was so close to even picking like Lost or even the previous stuff that I picked, Breaking Bad and stuff like that. But for me, like when you're thinking about the essence of a box set, it started with the box set. So this was streaming, and I remember watching this in 2012. This was still streaming. Streaming was, kind of happening and stuff. It was on TV. It was on Sky One. They were showing it and stuff. But I went to CEX and I saw this, and it was £2, and I was like, okay, let me just buy it and see what it's all about. And I watched it, and it was in line with, me studying, like everything to do with medicine and pharmacology and everything like that. It kind of helped, but it was scenarios in it that really I found interesting. But it was just, Hugh Laurie, his character, of being this. Oh man, I just love him so much because he's such a harsh doctor. Like you don't, you just wish you didn't meet a doctor like him. But he's to the point, and he has his own personal troubles as well. He's, he's got an addiction problem to Vicodin, and and it's kind of highlighting on a real life aspect of people who are taking painkillers. They're addicted to it, but it's without it, they're not human. It's that whole thing. But as the season goes on, there's that backstory, and you kind of learn about the characters. But it's one of the things where if you're into, even if you're not into kind of like medicine and kind of like the human body and stuff like that, it's interesting just to see. And, I would buy the DVD box sets because with that, I didn't realize that, again, with the special features, they would tell you about the actual real life cases. So these are real life documented cases. So there'll be stuff about this kid who, somehow he dreamt about worms. And at the end of it, you find out he actually has a tapeworm living inside of him. That's like 5 meters long.
Nasty.
And you're thinking, this is not real, but it's actually based on a true thing. And he apparently, he went to South America on a holiday and he had something, and it was a parasite that went inside of him, and it started as an egg and it grew and grew and grew. And when you relate it, and you're like, whoa, the episode is based on... Yeah, please, John, watch it. And
it's on Prime. I just looked. The whole lot's on Prime, so I'm going to watch it.
Definitely.
It's one of those TV series that I've always wanted to watch and just never got around. I kind of forgot about it until today when the guys were preempting what they thought you were going to pick.
It's really good. I think we were saying this before, weren't we? And you wouldn't think that he's British. His accent is so on point. Like American accent is so, it's perfect. And when you watch all these other shows where he's his earlier stuff with Stephen Fry, and he's the British accent, and it's like, whoa, he's actually British. I didn't know that. He's really good, and it's so heartwarming. And you were saying, say that again, John.
He was in Blackadder, wasn't he?
He was young Hugh Laurie. Hugh Laurie, like literally, like out of school Hugh Laurie, Blackadder. Yeah, I mean, he's really good. But I think you're saying at the beginning, middle, and the end, and you're kind of like, when it comes to the end, it's like, oh my god, I literally, it came to a point where now I'd gotten off the box sets and it was all on streaming, and I'm watching it in HD and whatever, and it looks beautiful on the screen as it is. And I just struggled to watch the last season because I didn't want it to end. I really wanted to extend this and the ending happened, and it was one of those shows where I was satisfied with the end. I was like, thank you. This ended how it should have ended, in my opinion. And it was a happy ending, and I was like, thank you. Like, it's finally a show. You know, yeah. And then again, from a perspective, you don't know if it's a happy ending. But you know, the way my thinking, I was like, oh, that actually was a happy ending.
Yeah.
So that kind of leaves it a bit open. There's so many things that could happen, right? But yeah,
I'm intrigued now.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's one of those, you know, even if you don't watch it, it's one of those shows where you can jump in and watch it just for the case. You know, like medical case. It's really interesting. And at the end, there's that aha moment where something, it's always that thing where someone talks to you about something and it's like, okay, I've solved it. I've solved this, you know, this medical mystery. This is what I need to give. This is how I need to treat, you know, the symptoms. And
it reminds me of that New Amsterdam. I mean, I know. Ant doesn't like hospitals and stuff, but yet he likes New Amsterdam.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the same. I love New Amsterdam. So, but I've known of House for donkey's years, but I've just never watched it.
You know,
so,
like New Amsterdam.
When the guys were talking about it today, I thought, geez, there's a show I need to watch. So,
House. Exactly. It's funny because I found out about New Amsterdam through Big G. Gal, so I think, and you told Gal and about it, and Gal told me about it, that you have to see this show. And honestly, and Gal was telling me, and at this point, I think Gal, you're Akshay was born, right? Your first daughter was born, and you were saying how you feel that emotion in some of the episodes, and it makes you cry. And you watch it, and you know, there's episodes of House that have that as well, like really emotional.
Oh, really?
You know, and there's many like songs in it where I've literally said like, hey, you know, Shazamming the song, because again, like the choice of song on it is really fitting to the situation. It's really good. So all around.
Okay, I'm gonna add it to the list. I might check that out.
Yeah, why not? If you've got time, it's definitely worth a watch. Yeah, definitely good. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, my number one.
In all fairness, I kind of knew it was your number one after that story you told us on the previous TV episode about House. So it had to be number one. If it wasn't number one, I would have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Had to be number one.
Some good top fives there, guys. Very, very good top fives. Very surprising top fives there as well.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Unless anyone has got anything else to say, we're going to leave it that and say goodbye then.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I think that's it,
Yeah, I've got a lot of recommendations now.
I really enjoyed the top fives, man. I've added loads to my list.
Yeah, a couple of things added to the list. So, and seeing as we've still got the lockdown and we can get these through, I might even get House done in time now, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, man. I might even
a couple of you need to.
Nice.
Definitely.
All right, so we'll say goodbye then, guys. All right. Thanks if
All right, guys.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks if you enjoyed what you listened to. Follow us on Facebook at the M.T.V.B Podcast or on Instagram at M.T.V.B Podcast. Subscribe to be notified when future episodes are available. This is Ant-Man, John, Little G, Gokul, and Big G signing off.
See you later, guys.
See ya.
Good night, guys. Peace out.
See you guys.